Hello! Hello everyone. Sorry for how long it's been since I last streamed, but you know how it is. I'm having to reconfigure the audio because last time we streamed we had to mess with the entire audio setup, so hopefully you guys can hear it, hear the background music, and we can get started. Who do we have in chat? A Gothic chat and praying for no Outer Wild, so maybe it's on the list. Armored Core 6 is in the Masterpiece tier in my list. This is not a list I created, this is a list that I found. You can see the list in the description. But yeah, so like, there are games I would never have put on this list. There are games that I think are just criminally missing from this list. But we'll see. Hello Adak, hello Silver. Final Fantasy VI, Team Fortress, Morrowind, that I was gonna guess your mouse. And also, like, you know, this isn't a 1 to 100. I guess I'll, like, rank them in the tier list too, but, you know, it's a very sort of loose structure. Don't take it too seriously. We're just here to have fun, guys. Hello everyone. Let me know if you can hear me properly and you can hear the background music properly, and then we can get going. Life is Strange is on the list. I swear if Acer badmouths those games. You can hear the music and me properly? Awesome, the great bad. Well, let's begin then. So, we start with Bioshock. Wait, actually, I think... since these lists are always relative, we should probably be very careful about placing something in the right spot immediately. So... let's find a horrible game, and let's find a masterpiece. And then we sort of have our scale, and everything else will line up on that. Shadow of the Colossus, masterpiece. One of the greatest games ever made. Meanwhile, we have trash like... horrible. It has to be completely horrible. I'm gonna pick... some sports games. Just Dance... a Pokemon. I'm going to pick. This is actually harder because, like, there are games that I'm not that into, but don't like. I'm very irreverent towards a lot of the stuff I'm looking at here. If we have to pick something that I think is completely horrible, I guess I'll put Fortnite, because this is really just like the epitome of a game not for me. I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I don't really care for brands. And, you know, it's just like the humor, the animation style, none of this is for me. So, this is my idea of a horrible game. Like, Fortnite, horrible time. Shadow of the Colossus, masterpiece time. Hey them, Yeah. Acer, do you believe a Dark Souls 2 remake has a place in this world, or is that a ludicrous idea? I don't think you need to remake it. Just, like, you know, it exists. And also, I don't think there's a really distinct creative voice in Dark Souls 2. I think they are, like, nudging at some interesting ideas, but... I don't think there's anything you can do with a Dark Souls 2 remake that wouldn't be such a drastic change from the original game that it wouldn't warrant just being its own thing anyways. So, you know, Dark Souls 2 remake, no thank you. Just do something else. They can't all be winners. Anyways, let's go with Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I think this is a pretty good game. When I was in high school, there was a big kick I went on, like PlayStation 1 kick, where I played Metal Gear Solid, and I played Silent Hill, and I played Castlevania, and Final Fantasy VII, and I didn't beat it. I think I spent like 10 hours in it, though. I understand the love, and I do have a lot of appreciation for the pixel art style when, like, in an era of 3D graphics are finally sort of landing and everybody's trying that, they decided, yeah, we'll use 3D, but we'll use it sparingly and to amp up the 2D style that we were really good at in the last gen. And it just, to this day, it looks really beautiful. Really beautiful. Love that whole gothic, vampire, white-faced, blonde boy aesthetic to, you know, really beautiful stuff. Really beautiful stuff. PUBG masterpiece. Isn't Scholar already a remake? Yeah, kinda. Redirection. Is Eco on the list if Shadow of the Colossus is there? I don't know. I haven't vetted the list. I'm just assuming that it's good. I'm also looking at, like, so many Assassin's Creeds. Where do these games come from? I don't know. There's probably a description of the list. But I don't know. Credit goes to the pictures from Google for the images. Credit to got the pictures from Google for the images. What? I feel like I just had a stroke. Bioshock. I would call Bioshock a great game. This is one of the OG Acer games where I was like, ooh, I actually think I really love video games when I first played this. Bioshock, I feel like the general public's perception of Bioshock has sort of waned over the years, but I really think that's just Bioshock Infinite. I think if you go back and play the original Bioshock, it's still a really well-made game. The story's great, performances are great, gameplay's really good, it's really, really atmospheric, has great level design, threads the environmental storytelling really nicely into that whole shebang. I actually just played it a few months ago when I wrote the Bioshock 2 script, and man, it absolutely holds up. It is such a good game, and I think that people's perception of the series was really soured when Bioshock Infinite came out. Bioshock 1 is a masterpiece. I can see that. I would not. When I think masterpiece, I'm specifically thinking about like. I can't say anything truly negative. Like, I think Shadow of the Colossus is as close to perfect as possible. Whereas with Bioshock, I can think, like, this is an amazing game, but I still have some, like, you know, there's some things about it that I'm like, you know, I don't like this part. I hate the hacking minigame, for example. And it's like, it's still a great game, but I think there's too many things that detract from it to truly rank in the masterpiece tier. The only downside I saw with Bioshock is that you can't really die. The story and the world building were great. Yeah, that's kind of like I get that they wanted to use the Vita chambers to sort of make the restorations make sense in canon, but like just do like saves coming. It's fine. Just saves coming. It's fine. Oh, Fallout New Vegas. I actually just fairly recently played Fallout New Vegas, and I hadn't played Fallout 3 or 4 or New Vegas, and I did the 3D Fallout trilogy. There's actually, you know, there's a quadrilogy now. You have Fallout 76, and when I first played Fallout 3, I really fell in love with the atmosphere and that sort of tone you got just by ambiently walking around the world. And when I started playing Fallout New Vegas, I was really disappointed by how uninteresting everything exploration-wise in the game was. But Fallout 3 was made by Bethesda, who make good exploration games, but New Vegas was made by Obsidian, who make good role-playing games, and all of the character interactions in New Vegas, they're so good. And I loved that. I fell so in love with that aspect of it that I'm like, you know, if we could have the world design of Fallout 3 and the story design of Fallout New Vegas, brother, we'd be cooking. I'd put it into the great category. You know, this is a beloved game, obviously. But yeah, I think that it's a really great game. It's also really interesting how it's a very clean and coherent implementation of a very specific kind of open world, where the main quest basically just takes you around in a big loop on the strip, I think they call it, and you don't really need to explore that much because you always have characters to engage with, and you know you love the whole. You know, the point is to find Benny, but if you just randomly stumble upon him, then that's as good as justification for finding him as actually doing the quests to find him. And that sort of open-ended and what's the word I'm looking for here? Open-ended and accepting narrative? I don't know if that's the proper term. I like how the story is not too fussed about how you come to engage with the world. I really like it. I want to go back to it one of these days. Top 100 games, then why is Three Houses on the list? Who made this? Some guy, you know. Wasn't me. Also, I'm gonna warn everybody, because we have a lot of viewers right now. YouTube used to do this thing where there was an overlay in my studio window about activating ads, like automating the ads. So, because I just OCD, I can't live with watching that box overlaid on the chat anymore. I decided to just activate it. If you see an ad, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I can't look at that horrible box anymore. So yeah, Half-Life. I think Half-Life is decent. I'd put it on the lower rung of good. Like, it's a well-made game. We actually just watched the movie a couple of weeks ago, or like a few weeks ago. There's a lot of stuff I like in it, but it's really a sort of distillation of a lot of game design trends and conceptualizations that I'm not a huge fan of. This sort of, you just rush from one action set piece to another, and then you have to sort of stand still while characters talk at you and stuff. It's just like, I don't really like it. You know, obviously, you know, broke new ground, really innovative way to play a game, but I don't know. I feel like I can just play System Shock, which came out before Half-Life, and you know, in thinking man shooter, Half-Life versus System Shock, you know, I like it more than I do Half-Life 2. I will give it that. And you know, like, I can't say it's a bad game. It doesn't really offend my sensibilities or anything like that, but I don't think there is too much meat on it, and it might just be that I played it too late. I think that if I had gotten into it while I was way younger, I probably would have had a lot more love for it, but as it stands, it's on the lower end of good. TF is Jungle Party. You were just playing Half-Life 1 a few minutes ago? That's pretty cool, Where would you put it? Half-Life hot takes. Black Mesa is a better game as a remake? Ooh. I would actually be interested in, because I played Black Mesa while it was in development. I think part 1 had been released or something like that. Half-Life is the thinking man shooter. Half-Life used to be the thinking man shooter. Then I think Bioshock became the thinking man shooter. And then I think people stopped using the term. Because, you know, it's kind of an elitist sort of, well, you just like games about shooting and blowing stuff up, but I need art. I need to think while I shoot. And it's like, yeah, well, you know. But I would say finely crafted shooter is probably a better way of putting it, where there's a lot of love that went into Half-Life, and you see it everywhere. Same with Bioshock. There's love all over. This was not made by the dictates of some producer who had no interest other than making money, you know? I didn't need much thinking when shooting aliens in Half-Life. Yeah, like, I don't think the term is all that good. I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a way of saying that your tastes are better. To this day, I don't know if I prefer a silent protagonist over a voiced one. Gordon Freeman seems to be treated as a distinct character rather than a stand-in for the player, so it seems odd. Yeah, like, it's weird. But I also think it's interesting how I think Valve is really upset with video game storytelling, because there are a lot of meta-narrative elements in the Half-Life franchise, and even in, like, Portal, where it really seems like they can't just accept this disconnect of the player and the player character, and they have to sort of play on it, but, you know, it's no Metal Gear Solid, I'll tell you that. It's like, oh my god, you know, the story's on rails, so you actually begin the game on a rail card, and, you know, whatever. I like Half-Life, but it's not, like, a particularly dear game to me. Okay. Terrible Half-Life takes. Oh, terrible Half-Life takes. The stream officially started. Street Fighter 2. So maybe I should have labeled these a bit differently, because this is probably pretty objectively a great game for what it is, but I'm just not a fighting game guy. So, if I'm playing it, to me, it's just decent. But if you're really into this world of games, you might play it and be like, no, this is where it was perfected, and every other game is just judged on how close it comes to the perfection that was Street Fighter 2. So, again, take all of this, all relative. This is just what I think about these games. This is not an objective quantifier of what these games are or anything like that. Just got into the stream, top 100 based on what? Just based on whatever. Based on vibes, man. It's pretty good. It's not like Kojima is subtle. All right, that's pretty fair. Same with Smash. If I'm playing Smash, if I walk into a room and somebody's playing Smash, I'm a Smash, brother. I'm a Smash. But this isn't really a game for me. Even less so is Team Fortress. I could probably I should probably have pruned this list a bit, where it's big online competitive mode, not for me. And then I could have just taken 40 games off of this list. But you're gonna see a lot of games in this tier just for this isn't really something for me. He gonna smash. I'm a Smash, baby. Oh, I'm a Smash. I'll have you all know. I'm a Smash. What do you mean what you say is not the only objective truth? I'm sorry. I wish I could just be the dispenser of correct knowledge all the time, but it's not true. It's not true. Until Dawn. See, this probably Fortnite I should put here. Now the standard is changing. This is everything I hate in blockbuster video games, where I don't think there is any component of this game that does not offend me. Because, and these sorts of games have their fans, and, we'll talk about this later when we get to, I think The Walking Dead. I think I saw The Walking Dead here earlier. So we'll definitely get to that. But this idea of video games are just a movie, and then it pauses, and you have to make a choice, and it's like a dramatic choice. This is completely underserving the interactive art form, if we can use that term, art. And when it comes to the story in these games, I've never been that impressed with it. I played the Indigo Prophecy when I was a kid, and I thought, whoa, this is so interesting. It's you can change the story, and it can go into many different directions. What? And now I look back at that game, and it's insanely, it's a cool novelty at best, but it's this insanely unimpressive product, I think. And I don't think any game in that vein that has come out since has really delivered on this promise of the story just adapts to your choices, because the choice is always you can play this cutscene or this cutscene, and that's not interesting to me. Also, for I hate when they scan actors and put them in the game. This game is so bloated with cutscenes anyways. Why don't you just put live action segments in there? Why are you making it act why are you doing digital mimicry of the people? You're already hiring the people. Hello? Am I crazy? And then you just use the CGI models for the gameplay sections. What? Anyways, so this is the epitome of what kind of game I just hate. But if you like it, that's fine. I'm not calling anybody out here. Super Smash Bros. Or Super Pass Bros. Ooh. Until Dawn sucks so much it made Fortnite look better. Yeah, I mean, because Fortnite, I can accept Fortnite and Team Fortnite. These are just games that I don't play. But this is something that I don't play, and also I hate that it exists. So anyways, Warframe, you know, it's the same. It's like not my type of game. Uncharted 4, I would also put right here. Well, yeah, I would put it right there. Like another one of these highly overproduced, CGI bloated monstrosities where digital artists were worked within an inch of their lives to get all the shiny graphics on all the leaves. And for the action-adventure feel that you're supposed to get from Uncharted, I don't think it's ever really landed. I don't think cover shooting really delivers on that emotion of being like Indiana Jones. And it's kind of crazy because they add a hookshot in this. And I can think of so many more interesting ways of reconfiguring the core gameplay, like for combat and stuff, since you have a hookshot, because you have like a ranged weapon and you can like swing it around and throw it at enemies to knock them out and stuff. But it's like, you know, you're like sneaking into this mansion in Italy or wherever it was for that art exhibition. And it's just like a 20-minute sequence where nothing is happening. And you're just like walking around waiting for script triggers to activate. And it's just like, what is this? What is this? And then every sequence where gameplay finally occurs, it's just, oh, there's 20 enemies in the ruins. Kill all the enemies. And I don't know. I don't understand that this type of gameplay is how Uncharted presents itself. I can think of so many better ways of really, really delivering on that action-adventure motif that the series is really, it's trying to be about that. And also, like, just, again, way too much voice acting, way too much, like, Hollywood production values in quotation marks. So, not really a fan of that. The Uncharted games are unironically pretty great, but I would have guessed that Ace Arisen. Yeah, and like, Uncharted is not Until Dawn. Like, I should put this here. Like, this type of game I really don't like. And if you're gonna do a game like this, I would prefer that it's something like Resident Evil 2 Remake, where the player direction and the mechanics are really driving the experience more so than just the camera points that way, so you walk that way and the characters start talking. I understand the love for this type of game, like Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us or Uncharted. Like, totally get that. I totally respect that. Not for me. Just absolutely not for me. But yeah, so let's move on, because we can't be here forever litigating the Uncharted games. Yakuza, this is Yakuza 0? Yakuza, I don't know. I've only, like, if this is the only thing I've played of Yakuza is I played the first 20 minutes of Yakuza 0, and then I started working on some other video, and I was gonna go back to the game, but I never did. I liked it for what little I did play of it. Though I think Yakuza 0 has like a pretty... I may be misremembering, but I recall people telling me just push through the first hour of Yakuza 0 because apparently like the intro is bad. I don't recall that. I feel like the intro was pretty okay. I like the little tucked away and cramped map design. But Yakuza, I just haven't touched the games enough to really have a firm opinion on them. That's Yakuza. Is this Yakuza Kiwami 2? Okay. I've like super not played that one, so. Battlefield 1. So I would put this as pretty decent. And I'll stipulate, I'm only talking about the single player campaign here. I didn't touch the online. I think that Battlefield 1's single player campaign is a really, really great single player campaign for this sort of game, where, you know, you have all these different mechanics in the multiplayer mode, where you can be in a dogfight, or you can drive a tank, or you can be like a guy in a building with a gun. And they actually did that in the single player, where it's like you have the aviator story mode and you have the tank story mode. And I feel like all of the not all of the stories are as well written or as interesting, but I feel like they differentiate the gameplay enough that, like in the tank, you actually, like, I actually feel kind of like, oh crap, I'm in this rickety piece of trash tin can that's always breaking, and it's kind of like, it is a bit tense to be driving it around because you're like cramped in there with two other guys. Is like, and then you're like in the airplane, and it actually kind of like, you get the feeling of being in these piece of shit machines. And I think the World War I setting is just such a great touch because it's like airplanes had just been invented like 10 years ago, something like that. So the technology is super crummy. So yeah, I really like. I haven't gone back to it. I only played each campaign once, and like I said, not all of them are good. I think that there's one that's like, we're Australians, we can't be killed, mate, or something like that. I recall not liking that one. I think there was a trench one that I also didn't super love, but as like a really short campaign that's just a showcase of the different ways of playing it, of playing the game, I think there's a lot of character and a lot of good player direction and scenarios in this. And I think I got it free on the PlayStation Plus, which is always, it's always a benefit if you don't have to pay for it. Battlefield 1 online, best next to Battlefield 3. Like I said, wouldn't know. Terrible list, Half-Life is a masterpiece, fake gamer. Nah, just kidding. Interesting view though. Yeah, and like, I would actually, I would probably put this in the top tier of like decent, because this is the sort of like, I think Titanfall 2's single player campaign was better than this, but this is the sort of like, I can totally justify buying this game at launch full price for just an 8-hour campaign that is just this. That's like a lot of love was put into this to really sort of make these different mechanics and all of that shine. You really get a different feel for everything. And like, I just crapped on Uncharted for cutscenes. The characterizations in the cutscenes here is really good. I really like the, there's one with the gambler who's like a liar or something. And it's like, is the story he's telling actually true? It's like, it's kind of interesting stuff. So I kind of like Battlefield 1 single player. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. The only thing I've played of Tony Hawk is I had some Tony Hawk game on my Game Boy Advance way back in the day. Like we're talking 20 years ago now. And that thing was a piece of trash because it was like an isometric skating game. So I'm not going to judge Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the PlayStation by my experience on the GameCube. I would probably, as just like a fun game, I would probably really like it if I did, play it, but it's just not really on my radar, so can't say I have too much of an opinion on it. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 are very fun. Yeah. Tony Hawk games are masterpieces. Yeah, sure. But like I said, haven't touched them enough to really say. And I'm not just gonna like speculate, well, I would probably like it, so I'm gonna put it here. Like, no. Red Dead Redemption 2, I would say it's good. I'd probably put it ahead of Half-Life. Though there are things I like better about Half-Life. I think overall Red Dead 2 probably takes it. I really like how they built the story of Dutch Vanderland and like the Dutch gang, or the Vanderland gang, I guess. It really fleshed that out. Those characters that appeared so briefly in the first game, and then you have them all together, and they're a bit younger, and like the dynamic totally works, and you totally buy that. Oh yeah, like this is a really sort of like I like all of these characters, and you replay Red Dead 1, and you're like, oh no, I'm sorry, bro, I gotta shoot you. I like Arthur Morgan. I don't think he's as interesting a character as John Marston, but he's still interesting. I like that whole. They're constantly sort of running away from the encroaching arm of the state where the Wild West is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and they keep running from the law because they don't want to live, like they have this anarchist view of the world, Dutch does, and the whole moral quandary where with Hosea, and then you have Micah, and it's like really good. Also, just, it's a really interesting world to explore. There's a lot of times I find myself just watching people play it, like just Let's Plays of Red Dead 2, when I'm doing clutter design for a game. So I'm like, just drawing all the little bips and bobs that are supposed to be in people's houses. I really like watching Red Dead Redemption 2 footage, because there's always like, that's an interesting pelt attached to some string that's just like randomly in the background. So I've also benefited from the game like that. Hated the mission structure. I would have put Red Dead 2 in decent. Sure. I can see that. I can totally see that. Also, I hated the whole Cuba thing, or like Cuba, wherever that place was. But I think overall, the experience from this, I think is pretty solid. I would say this is a good game. I would say the first game is maybe great. I don't think this is as good as the first one. I don't think it's as tight. But yeah, Dota 2, just like, I would put it here, was like just not for me. Can't really say. I'd love to see a top 100 hidden gems list. Ooh, that might be interesting. Crash to Insanity would be on that list. Fire Emblem. Trinity House? Three Houses. I haven't played it. I don't play anime games, nor do I play like Halo games. So I'd probably just put that. Or I really should have put a bracket here that's just like not for me, or like MMO. Sonic Mania. I didn't play it because I hate Sonic. I famously hate Sonic. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I don't know if I would like it, or if you have to sort of be a Sonic fan to like it, because whether it's like a great distillation of the good parts of the old Sonic games, but when I play the old Sonic games, I'm just like really unimpressed by them. I don't think Sonic's gimmick of speed really works. I think the the screen size is way too small. You're like running and then you just hit an obstacle, and there's no way of really preventing it because you can't see ahead of yourself. I don't really like memorization as a way of solving that. And not a Sonic guy. Didn't play Sonic Mania. Don't have a lot of opinions on it specifically. Don't like Sonic though. He can go to hell. Maybe create a tier called Not For Me. Yeah, sure, I could do that. But you know what? We'll make this the bat / let's just do this. Not. Yeah, okay. Not for me. And we'll move that there. And then I guess bad and horrible can just be the same one. Man, we really screwed up this whole list, didn't we? Yeah, okay, so Not For Me is for games that, while I don't dislike them, I don't really like them either. Which I guess is what decent should be. And horrible is for games where I have a lot of umbrage with them. Yeah, if you call a game bad based on the fact that it's not for you, it weakens the entire argument. Yeah, true. But I'm not saying that these games are these things in an absolute. I'm saying this is just my experience with them. So I'm not saying Uncharted 4 is unquestionably a horrible game. I'm saying my experience with Uncharted 4 was horrible. My experience with Until Dawn, horrible. My experience with Red Dead 2, pretty good. But yeah, I don't think that's maybe not as intuitive as just labeling it like this. So if I'm not into the game, it's objectively a bad game. Yeah, okay. So we'll have this bracket now, and we can always change things around, guys. Don't you worry. Hat in Time, didn't play it, which is weird. I play a lot of indie games, but this one just didn't really make my list. I've heard good things. I've heard people be like, it resurrected the platformer. Which may or may not be true, but I don't know. Arkham City, I would say that's a great game. I would put that above Half-Life. I would put it above Castlevania, Red Dead 2. Is it better than Fallout New Vegas? I love Arkham City, by the way. I think this is like... I can't stress how much... I think this is a great game. It's so good. It's my favorite video game city to explore. And I said so in my urban exploration video. I think that it tells it's a really good Batman story. That sort of, he's on the clock because he's been poisoned and he's trying to save himself. But it's also kind of a detective story because there is a bit of a mystery with the Joker and like, spoiler alert, Clayface and that stuff. It really delves into the Batman mythos. You have Ra's al Ghul and the Lazarus Pits underneath Wonder City and all that. I really like Arkham City. So yeah, I would say that's a great game. My experience with Arkham City was great. We won't be saying that when we get to Arkham Knight, which I think is somewhere around here. Jungle Party. Oh my god, I'm just looking at this cover. I don't know how good the resolution is on stream. I'm looking at the cover. I swear I've played this thing. But, you know, this is some weird party game, probably. Not for me. Call of Duty, not for me. Crash Team Racing? Wait. Yeah, Crash Team Racing. You know, it's decent. I'd probably have a better time with Crash Team Racing than I would with like these fighting games. You know, just a fun little wacky, fun racing game. What more to be said? What more is to be said? I would have a decent time with that. Jungle Party, masterpiece, trust me. Did they ever make Arkham Day? Okay. Probably the best Batman game. I would say it's pretty definitively the best Batman game. What's my first oldest game console? Probably the PlayStation 1. So yeah, Mass Effect 2. I don't know, like... It's really not for me. Well, it's not... it's just like on the lower rung of decent, where... I don't remember anybody's name in the game except for Commander Shepard, and I think Keith Davis was in the game, but I don't 100% remember if it was Keith David or somebody else. I don't think that the console-ification of KOTOR's system lands 100% of the time. I don't really think the story of Mass Effect is all that interesting. Don't think the world is that interesting. It's just like, didn't land for me. What can I say? Final Fantasy VII? Ooh, I would say that's... Mass Effect 1 is better anyway. Maybe. I would say Final Fantasy VII is on the top rung of good games. Where I'm usually not a JRPG guy. Like these sort of turn-based JRPG games. And I haven't played Final Fantasy VI. Apparently that one is muy bueno. But I really like Final Fantasy VII. I think it tells a really beautiful story. Has a lot of likable characters. A lot of interesting locations to explore. And, you know, the whole theme of confronting death and the inevitable and what have yous. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Final Fantasy VI is better than 7. I've heard that. We need more Babylon 5 inspired games. Ooh, maybe. Is that Mass Effect? Mass Effect 1 is sci-fi kino. Mass Effect 1 is a more complete game. Okay. Everybody's coming out to bat for Mass Effect 1. Hold on. Is it even in the list? It might be on the list. I'm just not noticing it in a quick glance. We'll see. Mass Effect 1. Final Fantasy VII is much better with a retranslated mod. I can believe that. Where do you stand on the JRPG as a slur discourse? I think people. So I'm not trying to be a dick, but I think there's a lot of people who spend way too much time on the internet looking for things to be mad about. JRPG, like, so if you look at the history of role-playing games and how they evolved, you can just objectively create this split. You know, Western RPGs and Eastern RPGs did not co-evolve. There was not a lot of crisscrossing ideas there. And the conceptualization of a role-playing game in America really becomes established in, you know, probably Ultima. And then Ultima becomes the backbone of the entire Western conceptualization of role-playing and action games, where Ultima is where we get the immersive sims through Looking Glass and Origin, but it's also like laying the groundwork for games like Doom. But when you look at Japanese role-playing games, they come from wizardry. Wizardry through, I think it's like Dragon Quest or something like that then sort of explodes with Final Fantasies and with your Mother series or your Earthbounds. Not Earthbounds, that's Mother. With Chrono Trigger, I meant to say. And to have a specific term to refer to these different styles that evolved in different cultures with different emphases, like to call that a slur, okay, let's not say JRPG, but now you need to give me a new term to describe this phenomena. And if you can't give me one, then I'm just going to use JRPG. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous! Mad. I'm mad as hell. Hi, Fado. Hi, Fabo. I'm right about Ultima and Wizardry. I am right about Ultima and Wizardry. I'm right, I tell ya. Final Fantasy VII is better pacing than most JRPGs I've played. Final Fantasy VII is a really cracker pace. Even though, like, you probably spent 10 hours in just the first city in Midgar. Eris is better than Aerith. I agree, I like Eris. It was meant to be Acer aesthetics and Eris aesthetics. Same letters. Aerith aesthetics, I can do nothing with that. Ridiculous. I've heard Advent Children is much better with a proper translation too. If the internet was alive in the 80s, there would probably be more crossing of the West-East RPGs. Oh, totally. Totally. But I'm kind of glad that that it wasn't, because we got these super different conceptualizations of playing a role in a video game from it. A Hat in Time is great, by the way. Give it a try. I probably will. I will play a lot of games one day. I just need time. I need time. Aether aesthetics. Would you consider the Pokemon games to be RPGs? I don't know. I think they're more like collectathon, turn-based combat games. I don't know. I'm not I haven't played enough Pokemon to really know that. But from the outset here, it doesn't look like the core conceit of Pokemon is that you're playing a very specific role, or like you have a purpose in this world, other than you have the generic purpose of collect them all. But it seems like you're not playing the game to play the character. You're playing the game to collect the Pokemons or train the Pokemons. So I don't know. I also think that the more you try to hammer home what is an RPG, the more it just becomes useless, where you can sort of vibe it out, right? Clearly, something like Fallout 1 or Icewind Dale. These are clearly RPGs. But if Pokemon is also an RPG, then is Ratchet & Clank an RPG? You know, Ratchet & Clank is also about collecting weapons to fight and to train them, to make them better. So, it's like the borders always become fuzzier at the edges. The genre, I guess. Watch Dogs, this is garbage. The first game was a steaming pile of shit, and I don't think there's anything really interesting about that game. And I was excited for it too, man. I was tricked. I was tricked by the cool trailers about, like, you're a guy in a coat and you have a baseball cap, and his name is Aiden Pierce, and he's a hacker, and you can interact with the city. And then a game came out, and it was just garbage. Horrible. Uncharted 3, like, I would put that even behind Uncharted 4. At least Uncharted 4 has the grapple hook, you know? And basically it's the same complaint I have for Uncharted 4. It's the same whining I have for Uncharted 4, where just not a really big fan of that sort of game. Metal Gear Rising, however, I'd say that's pretty good. I'd probably put it here. Even though, like, the thing is, I'm not like a character action guy, or like a big action game guy, but I like this one. I guess like the Metal Gear aesthetic probably has something to do with that, but I also just, it's a fun game. It's about ripping and tearing, so you play as Jack the Ripper Raiden, and you rip your way through things or whatever. Trash talks. Who puts Watch Dogs on a top 100 list? Come on. The face when I got filtered by the very first boss in Metal Gear Rising. It do be like that sometimes, though. But just buy the next game and hope that it won't filter you out. Yeah, I don't think there's any disagreement here. See, the thing is, Metal Gear Rising probably is great. It probably deserves to be great. But it's just really not a game for me. So I didn't have a great time with it. I just had a good time with it. So yeah. I like that you get to be the dog in the DLC. Huh? What? It's interesting, the moment we started talking about Metal Gear Rising, the view count just spiked by like 20%. Probably the algorithm noticed. And a bunch of salty Metal Gear Rising fans are gonna come in, they're like, what do you mean it's only good? It's a masterpiece, you bastard. It was before you really got into an action game? Okay. Yeah, I think it's also, is this a good sort of gateway drug into action games? I don't know. Plan to return to Metal Gear Rising someday now that I'm more experienced with character action games. Yeah. But yeah, like, I really like Metal Gear Rising. It's a good time. Acer, talk about meme game. YouTube algorithm goes mad. Yeah. I'm trying to quote the game. And, like, the only quote I remember is when he says he wants to make America great again. That's the only quote I remember from the game. But it's like, if I wasn't on the spot, I would have a million quotes. But I only have that one. Hopefully the YouTube algorithm likes that. Bloodborne. Oh, now we're getting into the good stuff. It's pretty good. I would say it's great. I would reservedly put it right behind Bioshock, but ahead of Fallout New Vegas and Arkham City. I made a 7-hour video on Bloodborne. I don't know what to tell you. I love the game direction. I love the rallying mechanic. I love the, get the player to fight for their lives motif that it sort of amps up in you. Love the aesthetic. I think it's a really interesting story. I think that the whole transcendence, I think that's really interesting. It's just this theme. I love the subversion of Lovecraftianism. I love that the story it's like an eldritch horror story baked in a gothic horror story, but inside the eldritch horror story are like 2 other gothic horror stories that are baked in. So it's like, it's just like this amazing unraveling game. I don't know. I feel like I don't have much to say about it that I haven't said already. You recently bought a PlayStation 5 just to play Bloodborne? Alright. Yeah, I mean, I think probably Bloodborne and the Phantom Pain, which is actually just the next game here, they're probably the justification I had for buying my PlayStation, because these were the only 2 games I really played in the first year I owned the damn thing. Well, I guess probably I played a lot of Dark Souls 3 too. But yeah, I really like Bloodborne, really like it. Living Failures are better than Lady Maria. They're certainly different, I can give you that much. And if you don't like the swoopy slashy combat boss fights, I guess I can see where you're coming from. More interesting stuff going on, I guess. The Chalice dungeons suck though. Okay, I mean, I have probably like 100, 200 hours clocked into the Chalice dungeons easy. I had a lot of fun with that, just like listening to audiobooks while playing the Chalice dungeons. There was a time in my life where all I did was like, I went to school, I went to study, and then I came home and I just played in the Chalice dungeons for hours on end. So I can't, like, I have too much time invested in the Chalice dungeons. I got too much out of that. I probably, I probably wouldn't do that now because I've exhausted so much of the content in them, but, I like it. From's most consistently excellent game is just great. Now, wait a minute. There are better From games. There's a better From game on this very list here, on this very row. No, this is a row, this is a column. So don't worry. There's a more coming up. The Phantom Pain is unironically the best and worst Metal Gear Solid game. I can kind of see that though. But yeah, like the Phantom Pain. So it is a really good game when it isn't unfinished. And right before you get to the unfinished part, it's like so much fun, and the story is so interesting, and it's threading together all this crazy, batshit, insane, ridiculous lore from it's incorporating crap from Peace Walker and and it's retrofitting it into an actually self-serious kind of gritty military game, military story, and it kind of works. But then you get to chapter 40, whatever, 47, chapter 50 or whatever, and it's like, oh, and by the way, we didn't finish it, and you're just like, wow. That's great. But a lot of great sneaking mechanics. Pound for pound, this might be my favorite just gameplay, just game to play, way to move a character, because there's just so much mobility and so much precision and so many interesting things you can do with Snake's body. You can, and it's so intuitive. It's just you jump down, you dive, and then you can just hold the button in, and now you can just roll around, and you can aim the gun, and you can do a 360 aim with it while you're lying down. It's just it's such polished gameplay. But it probably would have been great if it wasn't painfully unfinished. But yeah. Yeah, gotta say, the rope between masterpiece and good just being great sounds almost dismissive. Great is great. You know what? There's not what am I supposed to have, amazing in the middle? I think that's actually the standard. I think I took that bracket out. I feel great is as good as a game can be before it becomes an all-time masterpiece of the genre. I despise when Metal Gear Solid 5 fans say that the game being unfinished and uncharismatic is intentional. Yeah, no, that's complete garbage. Kojima did not finish the game because he thought that was a good idea. If Kojima had his way, he would have never stopped writing the game. He doesn't know when to shut up. You guys played, I think it's Police Knots, that just you can ask the lady about the futuristic couch, and she gives you this whole spiel about all the different massage settings. It's Kojima, my brother in Christ, I don't care. Stop this. But no, this is not some meta-narrative, postmodern deconstruction of fan expectations or something like that. It's just Kojima was fired, and he wasn't allowed to finish his game. That's what happened. Sometimes you gotta be game over, But Acer, Kojima said he had nothing to regret or add. If that's the case, why does he have that unfinished, like the collector's edition that launched with the cutscenes from the unfinished Lord of the Flies Island of Children sequence? Huh? If he doesn't have anything to add, why did he add that to the collector's item? If only the narrative context didn't suck, Phantom Pain would be the best stealth game ever. Yeah, probably. Like, again, just pound for pound, this might be my favorite gameplay in any game ever, but there's more to gameplay than just how the controls feel. It's also the way it elicits emotion and all that crap. And Phantom Pain, sadly, unfinished. And no, that's not what the title is referring to. I've seen that. People are like, wow, it's unfinished because it's like a Phantom Pain. That's not, like, if it was finished and you played it, and you played the finished game, and then they took the ending out of the game, then that ending would make sense. A Phantom Pain is not something that somebody promised you and didn't deliver on. Ridiculous. Now I'm angry at Kojima fans. Lego Star Wars 2. This is a really good game. I have so much time clocked into the old Lego Star Wars games. I played the hell out of these things. You kidding me? I love this. If I played it today, I would probably be bored out of my mind because they're probably not as meaty as I recall back when I played them and when they came out. But a lot of nostalgia, a lot of love. I can't give them anything less than good. I had such a good time with these games. And yeah, like the Lego games, I don't know, like I don't really like that they gave the Lego characters voices. I think that's sort of like, it's kind of part of the conceit is that these are little brick figure guys. I don't love the voice acting. I think that it's just like you're adding this layer of development complexity, and like part of the Lego appeal is that you're building the adventure yourself. And when you're like giving them the characterization of voice acting, you're kind of stripping that away. And now I'm not playing with these Lego characters in the actual places from the movies that I like. Now it's like, no, I'm just like a vector for the voice actor. It's like, yeah, I don't love that. I like the original generation of Lego games. Give me a Lego Indiana Jones any day, but not the ones where he talks. XCOM, haven't tried it. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like it's decent, whatever. It's probably the best Assassin's Creed game, but like, it's been probably like, I don't know, when did this come out? 2009? It's probably been like 14 years since I played this thing. So, not a big Assassin's Creed guy, sadly. Also not a big Grand Theft Auto guy, and I hate Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, I like some of the Grand Theft Autos. I like Vice City. Grand Theft Auto 4, I think that game is just complete ass. I think the city is completely uninteresting to explore. I think the driving mechanics suck. I think it feels very stuttery and just really clunky and ugh. This is not my game. Like, even like Grand Theft Auto 5, it has like different biomes. And it's like a huge map, and you can, like, you have helicopters and jets, and you can actually go to different places and do different things. Whereas here it's just like, yeah, you can fly across New York. How fun is that? I don't know. And I don't think that a city jam-packed with skyscrapers really lends itself all that well to the player-generated chaos of the Grand Theft Auto license. I think that when you go to Los Santos or you take it to Vice City, that makes so much more sense. And something, I've talked about this before, I don't know if I talked about it on stream, but we've seen the leaked map from Grand Theft Auto 6. It's in Vice City again. The waterways. And I'm just calling it right now because there's a waterway that basically flows throughout the entire map. That they did that to make for a lot of interesting water escapes, where you take like a swift boat or something like that, and you're just like traveling around the water now. And it really, like that could add such a fun sort of fun dimension to getaways and heist planning and stuff like that. So yeah, that might be really fun. Probably more so than the mountain biking and mountain driving of Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand ludonarrative dissonance Auto 4. Vice City is amazing. Vice City is amazing. You kidding me? Ray Liotta? Come on. Grand Theft Auto Vice City on the computer was the best GTA, best controls of them all. No? Yeah. I think Assassin's Creed 1 is the best in the series by a wide margin, just a sadly very misunderstood game. I can see that. So old they were top-down games. But yeah, Snake Eater. This is a masterpiece. It's an absolute knockout masterpiece. I love this game. So, Snake. The boss is framed for launching the nukes that Vulcan launches, and now Snake has to go in there and he has to redeem America. And it's like a narrative about Kojima's place where, because he sort of betrayed the fans with Metal Gear Solid 2, he had to go in there and he had to sort of redeem himself. And it's just Metal Gear Solid 1 again, but it's way better in every way. It's like, and just like, so the first Metal Gear Solid game takes the whole Tom Clancy military realist thing, and it sort of juxtaposes it with Psycho Mantis and anime and cyber ninjas and stuff like that. And that sort of disconnect of reality and the wacky elements is often played to sort of highlight Snake's own fragmented view of reality, where the game itself is sort of addressing the broken nature of the player versus Snake, where like you defeated Psycho Mantis, Snake didn't do anything different, and he has like a genuine identity crisis. And that is also sort of mirrored with the whole, well, Snake is being controlled by these shadowy operators who are pretending to be other people than they are, but he's also being literally controlled by you, the player. And it's like that juxtaposition is reincorporated into Metal Gear Solid 3, except they don't take it seriously. It's just like a fun, campy James Bond adventure, and it's so much better. Like the whole, that sort of inherently cartoony, silly gameplay of Metal Gear Solid, it actually just works so much better when it's a 60s Austin Powers fueled James Bond North by Northwest throwback. It's so good. It's so well written, and it's just like, this is the best Kojima ever did. Probably, like, I would have loved to see, like, PT is too short. I can't compare that. I would have loved to see him do a real Silent Hill game. But, like, this is the best he did. It's the best character writing he ever did. These are the best performances that his people ever got out of the actors. The characterizations, man, like, all the time. It's just, like, good quality screenwriting 101 stuff. Repetition. Like, how often does the boss beat up Snake to sort of showcase the dynamic of their relationship? Right? And it's like, they all do this. All the characters are constantly sort of being reintroduced as the things that they are. You constantly have Ocelot and Snake sort of rivaling it out, and Snake being like this sort of cooler older brother figure, which makes sense because Ocelot is the boss's son, and Snake is her adopted son, and he's like the real son, whereas Ocelot is just the biological son, but he's not the real son. And it's like, you know, it's a good integration of like actual military espionage, sort of realist Cold War politics, but then it's like it takes place in a tropical forest in Russia. It's like not a lot of those in Russia. Like in the Amazon maybe, but Russia, no. So yeah, this is a slam dunk masterpiece. One of the best games ever made. I remember someone saying that if Metal Gear Solid stopped at 3, it would have been the greatest game trilogy ever. Possibly. I struggle in the moment to think of any other trilogy of games that's better. How does it taste? Rusland is big. Yeah, but it's. I don't think Russia is on like the tropical belt. I think it's way too north. I think to get to the tropical belt, you have to go down to like Thailand or Vietnam or whatever. Rusland. Yes. I actually agree with that. Kojima gets a little too much credit as a writer when, let's be honest, he has a lot of really bad writing habits, but Metal Gear Solid 3 is legitimately good on all fronts. Yeah. Yeah, and it's good, I think, because he had a producer. He had somebody breathing down his neck being like, you're not making, like, you actually have to save your words, and you can't just make random garbage. You have to actually make it good. And he wasn't just allowed, they didn't indulge his worst impulses, which is sort of what you see with, like, Metal Gear Solid 4 has this really thick air of he didn't want to make it. And Metal Gear Solid 5, it's like, well, you hire Kiefer Sutherland to play the main character, so you can only have him in the voice booth for like 3 sessions, so he can't say that much because Kiefer comes with a big paycheck. And like, same kind of with Death Stranding, the characters just feel disconnected and weird, but Metal Gear Solid 3, this is where it's at. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, just like, you know, right here with... So, I will actually say it's behind Brotherhood. I think people need to replay Black Flag. I think people will tell you that Assassin's Creed Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed game. And what they think they're saying is that the pirate adventure is the best Assassin's Creed game. But this is not a pirate game. This is a game about hiding in shrubbery, listening to some British officers whisper information back at each other. That's what this game is about. That's 90% of that game. Like, if you're just playing through the main story, that's what this game is, and it's dog shit. But you know, you can make a lot of fun for yourself in the game, no doubt. But I don't have as much of a love for this game as a lot of other people do. Smite, not for me. I just like Black Flag for pirates, yeah. Metal Gear Solid 3 takes place in essentially Tajikistan forest. Tajikistan. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting good images of it, but yeah, like, I don't know if the biome makes sense or not. But it's like, do they have crocodiles in Russia? Do they have like tropical swamp crocodiles in Russia? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass. But I get this weird feeling that like, it's the setting comes from Kojima's love of the setting more so than, well, we have to make it actually fit with Russia as it really exists, or like the Soviet Union as it existed. I think it's much more informed by just, I want to do a game that's not set in a crazy, overly complex military installation, because he'd done that in the last 2 games, and he wanted a change of scenery and thought a forest would be interesting. Sorry. Jesus. Lordy. No, it's pure fantasy? Yeah, okay. Thank you. And you have Russian letters in your username, so I'm going to assume you know what you're talking about. Very cool. Confirmation from the homeland. Thank you, Space Apples. I only ever liked driving around on the open season. Assassin's Creed 4, the rest is bland. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's experience of like, and like maybe, you know, looting the little archipelagos and islands for treasure. That's probably some fun in there too. But I don't think if people replayed the main story, they would find it's all that great. Most likely they have crocs in Tajikistan. They have tigers. Oh! Why didn't we have tigers in Snake Eater? Oh, Kojima, you hack. Uncharted so low. Yeah, Sharks Wave. We talked about it. It's one of the first games we put on the list, so if you rewatch the VOD, you can understand. It's not that Uncharted is a horrible game, it's that my experience with Uncharted is horrible. My experience with Mass Effect 2 was just decent. It's more we're framing it like that. Because otherwise I would have to be like, well, you know, I don't like Uncharted, but I can see that it's really fun, so I'm gonna put it into good, even though I don't particularly like it. And then it's just like this weird list of like no real personal opinion coming into this, so why not just look at a random user voted list, you know? You get it? Yeah, you get it. You get it. You know why? Because you're quality people. That's why. Tigers are OP, and their texture would be costly to have in a PlayStation 2. That's true. That is true. Doom. I didn't play the Doom remake, so I can't really say. You know, this is probably here somewhere. Just like, I'd have a really fun time with it, but didn't play it, so. Borderlands 2, decent. I had a fine enough. I'd probably put it above. I'd probably put it here even. Like, look, Borderlands does have the sort of built-in problem that every character in the game is the most annoying character that has ever been written. All the dialogue is garbage, none of the jokes are funny, and I hate everybody I'm talking to. But just I don't know, I like traveling this wacky world and finding all the crazy guns. It's fun. It's just dumb fun. And if the characters ever shut up, this might even be a good time. But, you know, it's a decent time. Handsome Jack, Handsome Jack, I actually think maybe is why Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel I don't hate them as much as the other ones, because and like Tiny Tina or whatever her annoying face's name is, she really wrecks every one of these games for the duration that she's in them. But I think Handsome Jack has like a good sort of balance of, he's just wacky enough for this world that they're going for, but I can also stomach actually having him on screen. He doesn't annoy me every time he's talking. So just resurrect him, make him the bad guy, and all the other ones. It's fine, it's fine. Looter shooters are not my thing. Totally valid, totally valid. Oh no, guys, hold on. I'm sorry, but some guys are apparently getting ads right now. Ugh. Like I said, I'm sorry, but I can't have the overlay on my on my site, my end. I can't do it. Final Fantasy 15, didn't play it. This is the boy band one, so I probably wouldn't like it, but I didn't play it, so I don't know. Watch Dogs 2, I didn't play it. Apparently it's way better than the first one, but you only get to make one first impression, and I was not about to go back to Watch Dogs after the first game. Dark Souls 3, I'd say that's pretty good. You know, it's sort of just like a greatest hits of the Souls run we'd had so far. It has a wide open levels of Bloodborne. There's a lot of sequences lifted straight out of Demon Souls, like the final run up the stairs to fight Lothric and Lorien. That's just the run up to the stairs for the Penetrator fight in Demon Souls. And there's a lot of that in Dark Souls 3, where it's just like, oh, this set piece from this previous game, we're just gonna reuse that. And so like, it's basically, they're just rehashing the story from the first game. I feel like this is sort of like, this is as good of a Dark Souls conclusion as you can do, because I think the first game really closes the loop so elegantly. And if you keep adding to it, it's just like, well, it can only go into one direction. Eventually the flame has to go out. And that's a good premise for this game, which is like, what are the alternatives? The alternatives is to not do anything. The alternative is to just stagnate, and then you can get characters like Aldrich, or you can actually just rise up and become the Lord of Dark. And it's like, I like all of that stuff, but I don't really think Dark Souls needed to be a series. I think Dark Souls 2 would probably have been way better if it had been, you know, its own spin-off, Doom Souls or something like that. But yeah, Dark Souls 3, it's a good game. I had a good time with it. I see Leak. Might as well drop that in trash. Where's Leak? Here's Leak. Like, it's probably in... Yeah, it's here. It's not for me. And also, like... And this... Maybe I'm generalizing here. I don't know any well-adjusted person in my real life who plays League. Everybody I know who plays League had like a horrible 3-year stint where their life just went to shit and they did nothing but like shit in a bucket and play League all day. Same with the Dotas, same with, well, not really Smite. I don't really know anyone who plays Smite, but like, yeah. And like, maybe I'm generalizing here, but this is just the way I see it. Seems legit. 100% agree, Dark Souls didn't need sequels, but given that it did, Dark Souls 3 did a better job than 2. Yeah, yes and no. I mean, Dark Souls 2 at least had new ideas. Dark Souls 2 had like something it wanted to say, but Dark Souls 3 is just like a massive expansion to the first game. So it's like, is it better? it depends on what you want from it, I guess. But Dark Souls. Now we're getting to masterpiece. Is it better than Snake Eater? I dare say it is. I made a whole video on Dark Souls. What can I say about it? It's a masterpiece. Even though the Duke's Archives and Lost Isolith, even though there's a lot of like levels on the back end that are really unfinished and unpolished and compromised in very painfully obvious ways, still a great game, still amazing to play. You can go back, totally holds up. Great game. Dark Souls 1 looks like ass. Demon Souls is better. Demon Souls has a sort of wispier aesthetic, but I don't think Dark Souls 1 looks like ass. I think it looks really nice. Dark Souls is my favorite PlayStation 3 game. PlayStation 3 gen game. I can see that. Dark Souls 1's first half is a masterpiece. Its second half exists. True. I mean, I would say that, like... I think, like, New Londo is absolutely, it absolutely stacks up with the best of the early game. I would say Tomb of the Giants, I would say the Tomb of the Giants is just as good as the best the early game has to show for itself. I think Ulasil, if we're adding the DLC, I think Ulasil is, it's not as good as New Londo, okay? But it's still really good. I think it's really just the Duke's Archives and the Crystal Cave and Lost Isolith and the Demon's Ruins and Lost Isolith. I think those are probably the only areas that really sort of sink. And like you have the and like Anor Londo, yeah, that area kind of sucks. But you have the Painted World, so it's like there's a lot of good stuff in the late game. It's just that the ratio of quality to just sort of middling is a bit skewed. But Dark Souls, this is a masterpiece. Who's gonna debate this? Tomb of the Giants is horrible. Get out. Banned. Nah, I can see that. But it has an interesting gimmick going for itself that I kind of appreciate. Any thoughts on the original Dark Souls versus remastered? Not really. I like remastered more just because I can play it in 60 frames per second. Probably, I recall, I like Dark Souls 1 visually better. I distinctly recall that the visor on Oscar's mask in the beginning, it's not supposed to be a visor. It's just a hole into his helmet. But in the remaster, it's a visor and it like shines. It reflects light and it's like, that's kind of off. If I can have the original Dark Souls and I can play that and it runs at 60 FPS, then I'd be happy. But I'd rather play Dark Souls Remastered in 60 frames per second than play my rickety crap PlayStation 3 copy of Dark Souls original in with horrible frame rate. Dark Souls Remastered altered the lighting for no reason at all. Yeah, I don't know. Crystal Cave, ew. Half-Life 1 deserves to be top tier. It's more just like we're just going off of like my experience with these games, and I didn't have like an amazing experience with Half-Life. My experience was like, yeah, I kind of like this. This is pretty good. Where is Skyrim? Where is Skyrim? Where's Skyrim though? Yo, where's Skyrim be at? I don't know. It's probably somewhere in this list. I'll be. Yeah, here it is. Also, I just realized we have a lot of games to go, and we're already way over an hour into this. You can play the original Dark Souls on PC at 60 FPS. That's true. But I like to play these games on console. I'm something of a real gamer, unlike you PC casuals. I have to rank all 5,000 versions of Skyrim. Oh no, don't make me. Shadow of War. Yeah, it's decent. The Nemesis system is interesting. Everything else I'm like, pretty ambivalent about. Need for Speed, not really for me. I'm not a racing game guy. Not a driving game guy. Even though like I'll play a party racing game, which is interesting. Mario Odyssey. Ooh. Didn't play it. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty crazy. Like this big flagship series of Nintendo, and I didn't play the game, but I gave it to my little sister, and she loves it. And this Christmas, I'm gonna give her Super Mario Wonder, and she'll probably love that one too. Wait till we get Bloodborne on PC. Yeah, nah, you wait. You wait till you get Bloodborne on PC, brother. You're gonna be waiting a long time for that one. Half-Life 1 is like Fallout 1. If you played it when it came out, it was a masterpiece. See, I played like 5 hours of Fallout 1 not that long ago. I really liked it. I think I don't know. I guess the novelty of Half-Life just doesn't really grab me. I don't know what it is. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy is a masterpiece as far as Game Boy Advance games go. yeah. Ocarina of Time has left Half-Life 1 amazing for their time, but haven't aged that well compared to modern titles and iterations, in my opinion. We'll get into it when we get into Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina is somewhere around here. Fallout 1 is great. Fallout 1 is awesome. Guys, I'm gonna step aside for 1 minute. I'm gonna go pee and fetch some water, but I'll be right back. Everybody be nice in chat. Just good vibes, you know? I'm back, gang. I just had the most awesome pee. You wouldn't even believe it. At least my kidneys are working. My kidneys are some of the best kidneys. Okay. Thank for the PASMR. You're welcome. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Maybe that's just that was the faucet. I know you guys can't. You wouldn't pick the microphone. You wouldn't pick me in the bathroom up. This is the water. Listen. Water. Acer, your hands. You don't have to wash your hands after you pee. I'm gonna make that brave stance midstream. Devil May Cry 5. That's really good. I had a lot of fun with that game. But it's like, I'm not a big action game guy, right? So, no. It's okay. You know, because I touch all of my clothes a lot after I pee. I like just wipe it on my pants, and then my hands are clean. It's good. You know, not a big action game guy, but I like this game. I had a good time with it. I had a lot of fun. Soul Calibur, never played it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, never played it, but it's probably just, you know, like all the other Assassin's Creeds in the decent category. Mortal Kombat, not for me. Not for me also includes some games that I haven't played. But it's like, it's a fighting game, so it's not really for me. Modern Warfare, no thank you. Doom? I think Doom is good. It's like Doom. You know, it's Doom. Remind me to never shake hands with you, Acer. Why not? What's wrong with my hands? My hands are clean. It's my clothes that are covered in the pee particles. Don't shake my clothes. Shake my hands, please. Doom, you know, it's a Hallmark game. Everybody must have played Doom at some point. So yeah, pretty good. Don't have a lot to say about it. I'm not a big shooter guy, but I like Doom. I can play Doom and have fun. Half-Life 2. So I would put it right at the bottom rung of decent, because I think everything I like about Half-Life 2, most of the things I like about Half-Life 2, I like way better in the first game. I think the tacked on sort of just jump around and throw crap around while characters talk and you're locked into a location idea of a cutscene is just horrible. I think most of the scenario direction the game throws at you is not that interesting. I like Ravenholm as much as the next guy, but do you guys remember being in the lighthouse and directing rockets at those spaceships? It's like, what? All of the driving sequences are terrible, both in the car and in the boat. I like the bridge sequence. I like being in the city and like navigating through rooftops and stuff, scaffolding and what have yous. But I don't think the gravity gun is all that interesting a novelty, and I don't think it really adds that much to the gameplay. It's still just a game about you're relatively locked in an area with a bunch of enemies. Can you kill the enemies? So, and I don't think the story is interesting. I don't like any of the characters. I don't think like the alien invasion thingy is, or like interdimensional invasion is that good. I'm just not really feeling it with Half-Life. And if they never make a Half-Life 3, I don't care, brother. Half-Life 1 is way more replayable, yeah. I like Half-Life 2 more overall, but yeah, there are some gimmicky parts. Yeah, and I don't begrudge the gimmicky parts. I just feel like... I feel like there are most of the parts, like there are places, like I said, Ravenholm and stuff, but most of them, when they do these gimmicks, they don't really deliver on anything with them. They didn't use the gravity gun in many cool ways, sadly. No, this is not Portal. I remember the excitement over Half-Life 2's release, and it all felt new at the time. Yeah, probably before physics engines were really like a selling point, this would have blown people's minds. And like, the physics part of the game is like, it's fun and all that, but I couldn't honestly tell you that that the sequences in Half-Life 2 in general were more interesting than the ones in Half-Life 1. So, Overwatch, not for me. Crash. Okay, this is the Insane Trilogy. Really good? I don't know if they're specifically talking about the remake. Let's just say this is Crash 1, 2, and 3. And let's say it's all, for the sake of this, it's okay to just smash them all together into one game. The original Crash trilogy is amazing. It's so much fun. And it's hard as nails. The first one is, at least. The third one is pretty easy. They got easier as they went along. But I love that. I love when a kid's game is really difficult. Really like sadistically uncrackable monstrosities being thrown at these little kids who are completely helpless against it. I love that stuff. Bloodborne should be at the top. Well, I think like my issue with putting Bloodborne at the top is that I feel like there is a Bloodborne 2 that is one of the best games ever made. I feel like there is a way of adding to Bloodborne in a way that you make a much better game. I don't think you can do that to Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think you can do that to Dark Souls. They tried. I don't think it's been successful. I don't think you can do it to Metal Gear Solid 3. These games here in the great category, they always they are an excellent configuration of the things that they are, but I know that they're, you can just feel it. You can feel that there's a better game in there just waiting to come out. But yeah, God of War 3, not really for me. I guess I'd put it right here in the decent category. I like it more than the new God of Wars. It does the whole characterization via gameplay stuff that we all like, but I just kind of feel the story was sort of silly. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit dismissive. It's been like 10 years since I checked in on the story. Maybe it was better than I recall, but I think the first God of War is really the best one, and they never recaptured that magic for me. So I didn't have like the best time with God of War 3. I had a decent enough time though. It was fine. Acer, what is going on? Yeah, I'm not a God of War guy. I'm sorry. Rayman 1, huh? Rayman. The story, character, single player, and gameplay are boring and bad. What's any unpaid review and see for you? Hey, no. What was I smoking when I put Uncharted 3 as horrible? So again, I know people are dropping in and out, so I'm not repeating. Some people are watching the whole thing, and I'm kind of repeating this often. But there's a lot of people going in and out of the stream. I'm not saying the game is horrible. I'm saying my time with the game was horrible because it does all of these things that I don't like. It just, every 10 minutes, it just takes the control away from me. And now I'm watching just this bloated monstrosity of a cutscene. And then I get a gameplay section. And it's the least interactive sequence in the world. And it's either climbing, running away from something, or cover shooting. And none of this does anything for me in terms of giving me that feeling of action-adventure, Indiana Jones adventurism that these games are sort of pushing towards. And I don't think the story is all that interesting. Dragon Ball Z, Kai Fighters, or whatever the hell. I don't know. Haven't played it. It's probably, if it's a fighting game, it's probably in the not for me category. But yeah. Apologies for lateness. Accept it. I will accept this apology. Far Cry 3, I mean, decent. I would say I'll put it above Mass Effect 2. Like the story's garbage. I don't think what's his name? Michael Matz or I don't think his people lost their minds over that performance. I don't think it's that crazy a performance. I don't really think it's that interesting of a character. I think this game really just blew up on the hype of Skyrim with guns. That marketing was really good, but if you're just looking for a decent enough time, clearing out some bases and stuff, yeah, you can do worse than Far Cry 3. You can do way better, but if you want a good game about clearing out some bases, The Phantom Pain, that's way better. But Far Cry 3, it's a decent time, Blood Dragon was good. I like Blood Dragon. Yeah, he's the definition of insanity guy. Yeah, he's the definition of insanity guy. Far Cry 3 is one of the best open worlds ever. I'm just gonna be getting anthrax in my mail pretty soon from all the people who have disappointed here. OST kicked ass. I don't remember. For Blood Dragon. Yeah. Anyways, FIFA, not for me. But also, I hate FIFA games. Tetris, it's Tetris. It's Tetris. There isn't anything more to it. It's like, I don't have a great time when I'm playing Tetris. I don't have a good time. I have a decent time. If I'm bored and Tetris is in front of me and I need to kill 5 minutes, I'll play Tetris. But this is not some end-all, be-all masterclass of anything. It's Tetris. Come on. World of Warcraft, not for me. Pokemon Emerald version, not played it. Here we are. So here we are, probably even above, probably even beneath. So, again, not for me. I don't like long cutscenes. I don't like way too much dialogue at every moment. I don't like this idea of, if you don't know my gripes with God of War already, I don't know what to tell you. It's just, I feel like this, if you compare God of War, the remake, not the remake, the reboot to the first game, I feel it's a regression in almost every way in terms of interactive storytelling. Where the first game, masterclass in characterization, this game, whatever. You know, the first game had like this Greek tragedy thing going on. This game, it's just like, it feels like it was written by somebody who was like looking at how to write a screenplay. I don't particularly like, and it's like, this isn't this game, but like into Ragnarok. I really like the characterization they did for Thor in Ragnarok, but I hated Odin so much that it just completely ruined my ability to appreciate what they did with Thor. So, you know, not a big fan, but my time with this was horrible. Your mileage may vary, of course. ADAC was always doomed, though. Side note, I'd plan to dive into Baldur's Gate 3 by trying multiplayer with nephew. I'll see what the fuss is about. Okay. God of War didn't do anything that Tetris didn't do almost 30 years earlier. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5. So I put this like here, where I have a decent time every time I pick up Grand Theft Auto 5, where I'm like hanging out with friends. And you know, I have a lot of appreciation for the swappable protagonist idea, because the conceit of the game being about player-created chaos, I think it just kind of works better when you have characters with different affinities, and like, if you really latch onto like the driving, then you can play as Franklin and do that, or if you just want to shoot people, you can be Michael. I think the map, like I said when we talked about Grand Theft Auto 4 here, I think the map in 5 is such a marked improvement, because there's actually things to do. There's like a train and everything, and you can like incorporate that into your heist and stuff. It's like the idea of player-created chaos is so much better realized in this game than in the fourth one. I'm not a big Grand Theft Auto guy, but I like this one. What is this? Oh, this is Horizon Zero Dawn. Right here with all the other spiffy graphics PlayStation exclusives. Really don't like this sort of cinemafication of video games. This is Yakuza 0. So decent time, but like, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I've played a bit of it, so I can't really say I have a good opinion on it. Injustice, haven't played it. Lego Indiana Jones, I like Lego Indiana Jones. Where did I put Lego Star Wars? I'd say this is right here. Yeah, right here. Where it's like, it's fun. It's a Lego Indiana Jones game. What can I say? Yakuza 0 is a masterpiece. I played Yakuza 0 for like literally less than, I think I played it for like an hour or whatever I said earlier. So I just don't have enough of a read on the game to commit to saying my time with it was something. I wouldn't say Horizon is horrible. No, well, I'll put it here. Like, if I played this game, I know from everything I've seen about it, I would hate it. But I have not engaged enough with it that I can tell you that my experience with it was X, because I don't really have that deep of an experience with it. So that's fair. Lego Star Wars, right here. I'd put it behind Lego Star Wars 2. Lego Star Wars 2 incorporates the sort of punching mechanic that they sort of beefed up into Indiana Jones later. And it has different mission design structures because they don't always have a Force user on hand. So they needed to create some challenges that didn't just require you to press circle or whatever the first Force button was. I like the first Lego Star Wars, but I think the second one is better. Even though it has those shitty space mission ship battles. I still think it's a better game overall. Enjoyed my time with it more. You're playing Horizon Zero. You're playing Horizon right now. Horizon is just a safe game. Nothing special about it. Setting is cool. Horizon is horrendous. I felt like sleep. I fell asleep like 5 times while playing it. Gameplay is pretty amazing. I think Dark Souls 1 is above Bloodborne. I do. It's right above it, in fact. Mario Kart 8, where like it's just right here. Yeah, I'd probably put it behind Grand Theft Auto. Not a big Mario Kart guy. When I do like my kart racers, I like a Crash to Insanity. I think Mario Kart 8, that, and there is competitive play in it, and there's definitely ways of being way better than other people in it, but I don't feel like stuff like the blue shell, everybody complains about it, and like, yeah, it's there to sort of rubber band people a bit together to make for more options for less skilled players to compete and what have yous, but I don't really care. I think that's such a sacky item. Like the core conceit, if the core conceit is the racing, then I feel like I'm being penalized when I'm good at the game. But if the core conceit is playing it with friends and like everybody sort of, in the chaos together, I think Crash Team Racing is frankly just a better version of that. So, I don't know. Super Mario Galaxy, I'd say it's good. People kind of lost their minds over the Super Mario Galaxy games. And I understand why, but I'm not feeling it. Minecraft, Minecraft is really good. It's a very good example of telling a story just with mechanics where, you spawn into the world and then you struggle against your environment and then you overcome and you like build your house and such. It's a very sort of basic survival story kind of story dealy, but it's Minecraft. You're not really bored when you're playing Minecraft. It's a fun game and well made. So Super Mario Galaxy only good. Yeah. It's beneath, think about this. Super Mario Galaxy is beneath 3 Lego games. Oh yes. God Hand better be on the list. I don't think it is. It would be cool if it is, but I doubt it. Galaxy blew my elementary school child mind. Now I'm like, yeah, it's cool. When you replay Ratchet & Clank 2 and Ratchet & Clank 3 and you get to the little moon planets, the novelty of Mario Galaxy begins to wear very thin. Super Mario Galaxy was robbed. Monster Hunter, haven't played it. Overcooked, haven't played it. Counter-Strike. So now we're getting back to like elementary school years here. These are some formative gaming years. And I'm not really a fan. All my schoolmates used to play this game all the time. I hated this game. I didn't like this game. It's like, oh, you're all in contest. The bomb has been planted. And everybody knew what all the guns did. And I'm like, man, screw this game. Ratchet & Clank is way more fun than this shit. And I'm right. Screw Counter-Strike, man. Pac-Man, it's like Tetris. It's just decent. I don't... it's Pac-Man. It's a classic, but there's not a lot of meat to it if you go play it today. And there are configurations of the same core premise of Pac-Man that are so much better that we've gotten since. And because it doesn't, it's Pac-Man. It's just the raw Pac-Man. If you release this today, nobody would care. And I don't think that the fact that it blew the world up and made $8 billion when it was new 30, 40 years ago, I don't think that really counts. I think there's something to be said for legacy, but if we're just talking about my experience with these games, I'm not going to pretend like I enjoy Pac-Man that much. Come on. How is Dark Souls 3 2 tiers below the first? Because it is 2 tiers worse. No, because like my experience with the first game was that my mind was blown. My experience with the third game was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. I played Counter-Strike for about half an hour back in the day, and everyone was cheating with aimbots. Max Payne 3 is the best third-person shooter. Alright, is that on this list? I guess we'll find it when we find it. If Diablo 2 isn't on this list, it is. I think I saw, this is Diablo. Is this Diablo 2? Or is this Diablo 0? I don't know. There is a Diablo. I'm gonna spoil it right now. They're going into this bracket because I've played like, I think 1 hour of the first Diablo or something like that. There were only 5 arcade games available when Pac-Man came out. That's Diablo 2. Alright. Says 2 straight on the image. I'm an old man. I can't see if this is a Roman 2 or if he's like giving me the finger behind the logo. I cannot be expected to know. Let's try to burn through a few quick ones. Persona 5, haven't played it. Pokemon, haven't played it. Pong, I mean, come on, it's Pong. I'm not gonna, come on. We're Space Invaders. You know what, I actually have a lot more tolerance and patience for Space Invaders. I guess we'll get to it if we get to it. Portal, okay. I'll take both Portals here. I will say I'm gonna put the portals next to one another, but the question is, which is the superior portal? And I'm thinking it might be the second. The first one is half as long, so it's just got a much more cracking pace to it, but I think Portal 2, the writing, the puzzle design, the boss fight at the end, like everything, it's a much, it has J.K. Simmons in it. I really like the Portal games. I like them way more than the Half-Life games, because I feel like the conceit of gimmicky puzzle-solving, first-person shooting being baked into the premise of Portal and the story allows them to just go wild with that, rather than in Half-Life, more so Half-Life 2, where they have the gravity gun and they kind of have to hide that. That's like, well, yeah, it's a gravity puzzle game, but it's actually a shooter about a revolution against the aliens. Like, no. Keep it very grounded, very small and focused, and then you get the Portals. A lot of love for Portal. 2 is better. All right. Both are equally as good. Like, I can justify swapping this. I'm not committed to one game being way better than the other one. I just know that if I'm gonna replay one of the Portals right now, I'd choose Portal 2. So that's basically the criterion I'm using, and it has J.K. Simmons, so you gotta. Yeah, and it's and they're both in the good box. So yeah. What the hell is this? Jackbox Party Jack 6 or something. Jackbox Party Pack. Haven't played it. Resident Evil 2. Okay, so I would say Resident Evil 2 is a great game. And here's the difference between... So, Uncharted 4 is a cinematic third-person shooter. Resident Evil 2 is a cinematic third-person shooter. The reason one of these is in the horrible category and one of these is in the great category is because Resident Evil 2 is just grabs its hook straight into your organs and drags you through this horrible gauntlet with the mastery of the core mechanics. It's just, oh my god, do you guys remember that prison sequence where you walk past all the locked up zombies and then you gotta open the doors and walk your ass backwards from all those cells you just finished opening? It's stuff like that. It's just this real deep integration of horror into the set pieces, and you have resource management in a third-person cinematic. Like, why is that so? Third-person cinematic shooter with resource management. Wow, what a novelty. Why can't I get that from the Uncharted? Mr. X was so great. I still remember that time I almost ripped my testicles off. So the thing was, I've talked about this on stream before. It's the basement sequence where he breaks through the wall. I had escaped him, and I was in the mirror room, and I was like, aha, I'm safe now. Because I'd forgotten he breaks through the wall. And I did the thing I was doing there, and I was like, you know what? Now's a good time to scratch my balls. And then I was controlling the game with one hand, while I was scratching my balls with the other, and I'm walking out, and he breaks through the wall, and I have to just scratch my hand out of my own crotch to replay the game and get control back, and I almost tore my testicles off in the motion. It's a testically rippingly good game. And that was a great experience for me, which is why it's in the great category. Scratching balls and not watching hands. I would, yeah, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. Resident Evil 4, I would also say that's a great game. It's probably my favorite just out-and-out action game. I really love that sort of Tetris inventory management system. Enemy, I think it might have the best enemy variety of any game ever devised. So many interesting behaviors, so many interesting... Like, it's so good that even when you get into the castle and the game becomes just this massive shit show, it's still good because the combat is that well integrated and the enemies are that varied that even after all the interesting set pieces are done, you can still play it and have a great time. It's so good. Resident Evil 4 is better than Bloodborne. See, I will say the reason it's on the bottom rung of the great category is because outside of the great combat and like the great enemy design and all the stuff I appreciate, I don't think there's that much to it. I don't think that outside of that sort of arcadey fun or like the mercenary mode arcadey fun of the combat, I don't think there's that much to the game. Whereas Resident Evil 2, it's like I have emotions because it's atmospheric, or Batman because I'm Batman, bro. Did I like the remake? I went into the remake thinking they're gonna cook this because the developers said that what they really want to do with the remake is focus more on the horror. And I thought, yes, that's a great idea because Resident Evil 2 remake had come out and then we got Resident Evil 3 remake. And 3 remake is just sort of an add-on to the end of Resident Evil 2 because Resident Evil 2, the earlier half is resource management horror and the later half becomes more of an action game. And Resident Evil 3 remake feels like an expansion to the action game. And my thinking was, okay, if you're gonna do Resident Evil 4 remake, do an expansion to the earlier part of Resident Evil 2 and do a full-on horror game all the way through. Because that way, number one, you expand on the best part of Resident Evil 2 remake, but also Resident Evil 4 is already a perfect action game. So you don't need to, don't put the remake in the same lane because then you're competing against arguably the best action game of all times. And, you know, this is just, it's a ridiculous expectation to set for yourself. And then, the developers said that that's what they were going to do. We're going to make it more horror focused, and I was really excited. Then I saw the trailer, and it was like, he's blocking stuff with a knife, and it's just like, oh no, they just made it an action game again. Great. But then the game came out, and I had a really good time with it. It's one of my favorite blockbuster games this year. I would not put it in the great category. It would be very high on the good category. I do wish I would have gotten the more horror-focused Resident Evil 4 remake rather than one that embraced the combat like the one I got did. But don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Resident Evil 4 remake was still great. Or, well, still good. Just played a game called Call of War, it's Gunslinger, and it was almost as good as Resident Evil 4. Really fun and replayable. Highly recommended if anyone hasn't heard of it. I've heard of it, I've never played it. Resident Evil 4 and Bloodborne are both infinitely replayable. Yeah. That's true. Dark Souls 3 is on the list, but Demon Souls isn't. If Demon Souls is in this goop, then I just haven't come across it yet. Obviously, Demon's Souls would be right here. The first masterpiece, because it's the best game. Sekiro, I would say Sekiro is right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'd put it right here. Where it's basically as good as Bloodborne. It just has different points of emphasis. So Bloodborne, atmosphere, sort of wispy, dreamlike horror atmosphere. Sekiro is more sort of mythological Japan and stuff. And it's more compact. It's like actually more of an action game than Bloodborne is. Different point of emphasis, but basically about as good, I think. I did a 6-hour video on it. It's just like with Bloodborne. I have exhausted everything I have to say about it. Sekiro and Dark Souls 1 are tied for me personally. Alright. Sekiro better than Resident Evil 4? Because of what I said. Because after you get past the honeymoon phase of Resident Evil 4, like, this game has so much arcadey fun to offer. But beyond that, I don't think there's a lot to the game. Whereas with Sekiro might not have as fun combat, but it has other things in it. And Resident Evil 4, I don't think really does. So Sekiro has like themes and characters and like ideas about metaphysical constructs like immortality and parasitism. And Resident Evil 4 is just like this like Resident Evil 4 is just like if Metal Gear Solid 3 was written by a person that didn't understand that they were writing like this amazing mustache twirling self-indulgent cheese fest. And it's just like, it's like shit writing, but I'm like, is this shit writing or is this amazing writing? I don't know. Whereas with Sekiro, it's just really good. That Sekiro placement is the worst I could have done tonight. Sekiro is the GOAT. I had a great time. I have a great time with Sekiro. What is this? What is this, chat? We're still going. Kesdev, look at how many games I have left. I'm like halfway through, if that. Let's see. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ugh. Wait, that doesn't add up. It's at top 100. This is way more than 100 games. Well, whatever. Well, this might be a two-parter. You know, my voice is already getting pretty bad. So we might pick this up tomorrow or Wednesday or what have yous. You just got home? Ugh. I would have invited, you know what, Keziv? I would have invited you to do this with me. But I knew you weren't home. That's the problem. And also, this has already been going for like 2 hours. And look at how little I've accomplished. I have over 135 left. I know. Grand Theft Auto 4 only decent. My time with it was only decent. This is not a statement about the games. It's a statement about my experience with them. If there was an Armored Core 4 answer on the list, where'd you put it? Don't add to the list. What are you guys doing? Probably in the first half of good. I don't know if it's great necessarily. Super Metroid, haven't played it. Super Mario Bros. 2, haven't played that one. It's weird that they have Super Mario Bros. 2. They must have Super Mario Bros. and 3, right? Because I have opinion on those. I don't have an opinion on the second one. Super Mario Galaxy 2, it's right here. Is it better? Is it worse? It's a package deal, kind of. Wait, 2 reintroduced Yoshi, I think. And it was like a glorious return after his shit show appearance in Sunshine. So I guess Super Mario Galaxy 2 gets the edge over on the first one. Super Mario Bros. 2, great game, best played on SNES. Almost equal to Super Mario World. Good gameplay, good music, etc. Alright. Just rank Silent Hill 2 real quick and end the stream. Where's Silent Hill 2? Hey, wait a minute. You can't game the list, guys. All things in their time. Doki Doki what? No way. Case of diff. Terraria, never played it. Not a nerd. Skyrim, yeah, it's like decent. Probably put it behind Borderlands 2 because like Skyrim, the problem I have with Skyrim is that there's a great game in there, but it's not the game they want me to play. Whereas with Borderlands 2, it's like it's a fun game and that's the game they want me to play. Morrowind obviously would rate way higher. I don't know, I haven't played that much of Oblivion, so I don't really have an opinion on that. But Skyrim, the honeymoon phase is really past, and I don't see any reason to ever touch that game again. I'm so burnt on it by now. Skyrim, hard to judge, gameplay boring, but they did a lot of things right. It's one of the problems with these sorts of games that are just these bloated monstrosities is that there is a masterpiece in Skyrim, but Skyrim is not a masterpiece. I'd probably put it above Grand Theft Auto 5. Last of Us, hate it, horrible time. Breath of the Wild, I'd say it's good. Also, I'd say Breath of the Wild is pretty good. I think that one of the issues I have with Breath of the Wild, and I must have talked about this ad nauseum a million times already, but the Zelda games used to be really good at the things they did with dungeons. Is basically what Mario always did with platforming, where Mario always say what you want about, they just keep printing these games. It's just a money machine. But you know what? They always figure out something interesting to do. It's always they figure out something new and interesting to do with the idea of moving from A to B on a screen. And Zelda always had at least some new interesting ideas when it came to like items and interacting with the world. And they were really good at that, especially with the dungeons. And bosses were like a great showcase of, well, here's a boss that really takes advantage of the new item you've acquired, and everybody knows this. Breath of the Wild, I think, jettisons this in favor of a more cohesive package, where rather than a tightly directed experience where there's a lot of pockets of greatness, it's just this sort of massive goop where you can find moments of greatness in it, but it relies more on the core gameplay to deliver a fun experience than it does the talents of the level designers or the dungeon designers or what have you. And it's not better, it's not worse, it's different. I personally don't love it. I do like how you can just walk from one end of the map to the other. You can climb whatever if you can figure out a way to, take a path up there. But I think the reason I don't super jive with Breath of the Wild, even though it does a lot of interesting stuff, and it did a lot of new things that we hadn't really seen before when it came out, it's not about anything. Like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, these games coalesce really tightly around a specific theme, an emotion. Breath of the Wild doesn't do that for me. So I can't, in all honesty, say that my time with it was anything more than good, because I probably played the game for like 70 hours, and there are 3 moments I remember from it. And it's always like, finding Kokiri Forest, or that island in the north that takes your shit away, and it's that weird dark cave area where you're like dark rubble or whatever you have. And it's kind of tragic, but my favorite moments in Breath of the Wild, this game that's all about player expression and freedom, my favorite moments are all the moments where
they took that freedom away from me and just put me on a linear rail, just railed my experience, and where this is the thing you're doing now. This is the conceit of this area. So I don't know what to make of that. But like I said, I wish I could play a Breath of the Wild that had a story I cared about. I think that would be enough to put it into the masterpiece tier, if they could somehow thread the exploration mechanics very neatly into a narrative that really takes advantage of those mechanics, but I don't feel like they did, and yeah. How is Tetris indecent? Because my time with Tetris when I play it is just decent. I don't have like a great time when I'm playing Tetris. I don't go like, oh my god, I'm going freak mode with Tetris. It's Tetris. It's, you know, it's not anything. Yeah, Last of Us suffers from the Uncharted syndrome. Yeah, I mean, there's more like resource. I guess I'd put it above Uncharted 4. It's more like resource management. There's more of an emphasis on exploration and scavenging for items and stuff. But yeah, it's still like way too cinematic for me. Still salty on Sekiro. Please explain why it's not a masterpiece. Because I know that there's a better game in there. I know that, you know, like I said earlier, I don't look at Shadow of the Colossus and think, I know there's a way to make that game better. If there is a way, I don't know what it is. I don't know, like, I think Dark Souls, like, yeah, it has some shitty levels at the end, but it is basically a perfect distillation of what it is. But Bloodborne and Sekiro and Arkham City and Fallout New Vegas, I know that there's a better game in there. I know that if this team with this premise got another crack at it, I think they could have delivered something that was even better. I can conceive of a Bloodborne 2 that is a masterpiece. I can think that I can imagine a Sekiro 2 that's a masterpiece. I can't think of a Shadow of the Colossus 2 that's a masterpiece. I can't imagine this premise being revisited and being improved upon. But I can for all of these other games. Because I don't think these games are reach a sort of perfection in utilizing their mechanics and their bips and their bops and all their unique quirks to tell the stories that they're trying to tell, or to deliver on the emotion they're trying to deliver on. I can imagine it being done better by a game that's just one more swing and you could have done it even better. A better game for you, a better game for me. Like, again, this is all subjective. This is just like me, guys. Come on, please. Wolong Fallen Dynasty is better than Sekiro. I feel like people are just asking me to, like, I have to start banning people from chat. We have like crazy people. They need to reopen the mental asylums. The last time I looked at top 100 games, Charlie Booker was still a games journalist. Are you going to tell me there's not a better Bed of Chaos than Dark Souls 1? Like, yeah, obviously, like I said, there are some shitty levels at the end. But the core conceit of Dark Souls, I think, is basically perfected here. That idea of, like, you're lost in the world and it's like this crazy interconnected world, and it's like the bonfire mechanic and how independent you are from vendors and merchants and stuff. It's like, that is basically perfected here. Obviously, you could always tweak things around the margins. You could always, like, I can imagine a Shadow of the Colossus with better frame rate, or better draw distance, or whatever. I can imagine a Metal Gear Solid 3 with better load times, or something like or one where Snake didn't control, like, he just controls like a weird wind-up toy in this game. I can imagine ways to improve it, but this is still sort of a perfect distillation of what this game is going for. I don't think that's the case for Sekiro. Like, just take for Sekiro, for example. I don't understand why the Breath of Life skill is not unlocked at the start. It makes so much sense. It absolutely rewards hunting down death blows, which perfectly gels with directing the player to go into the encounter as a ninja, but it's unlocked in Mibu Village. That's like a third of the way through the game, like a third or half, depending on how you structure things. And it's like, this is such an obvious slam dunk mechanic. It should have just been there at the start, I feel. But yeah. Moving on. Wind Waker, I think, is good. Ocarina of Time, we're in masterpiece territory now. Yeah. Is it better than Snake Eater? I don't know. Ocarina of Time is a game about nostalgia, and they gamify that feeling by having you constantly juxtapose the destroyed future world with the innocent past world. And you get to interact with the same characters in different times in their lives, and their relationship with Link is completely different because of how much they've aged. And man, they just nailed it. It's so good. And like I get that there's a lot of sort of antiquated design principles employed in the game. There's a lot of stuff that they do here that they probably wouldn't do today, but it's Ocarina of Time. Uncharted 2, like another one. The Walking Dead, yeah, this is another trash game that I hate. I hate, like, the story's fine. I've seen the cutscene where Lee is like, "Oh, Clementine, you gotta promise to remember. You always gotta believe. Find Omar and the lady." And he turns into a zombie, and it's super sad. Don't try to sell me on these games. I'm not interested. If you want my choices to matter, make my choices matter. Don't make my like A or B button prompts matter. I hate that. I hate that so much. Telltale, the thank you. Ocarina of Time over Sekiro makes my blood boil. I'm gonna cry in a corner. I was hoping you guys wouldn't notice that. Ocarina of Time killed Zelda. Breath of the Wild saved it. I don't know. I feel like A Link to the Past basically established everything that Ocarina of Time did. If you're upset that, like, if you're talking about it in terms of player freedom, A Link to the Past already put an end to that. So, as an atmosphere over everything guy, the N64 Zelda games just ooze peak atmosphere. They're so wacky, man. But yeah. The Witcher 3, I played it for like an hour, and then my horse got stuck somewhere, and I was like, man, I don't care about this. And I didn't go back. Yakuza 4, haven't played it. Some other Yakuza, haven't played it. Apex Legend, haven't played it, but also it's not for me. Celeste, haven't played it. What the? Oh, it's Chrono Trigger. Okay. I love Chrono Trigger. Yeah. I've only played it once, but I remember really loving it. And apparently it has like a crazy amount of endings and different ways for the story to resolve. And maybe the Chrono Trigger experts in chat are gonna laugh at me. I don't distinctly remember if there were any obvious tells about like, well, you made this choice now, so that's the ending you're gonna get. To me, it feels like the whole experience, I'm like, okay, so when is the forking path gonna come? Did it already happen? Is it like Silent Hill 2 where it's a hidden thing? Or I was like, oh, pretty cool. Great characterization. I love the animations. I love the beginning of the game where you're in the carnival with a girl whose name I forget. And there's a great sequence where she's like looking into a shop and she goes, "Oh, I'll just be 1 minute. I'm going to look around." And she will not move until you talk to her again. And when you talk to her again, she says, "It's just 1 minute. Relax." And then she is put on a timer, and then she like comes back, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, there's so much attitude, and again, it's just like you're using the mechanics of talking to her, and it's like, okay, it's great. I love that. So much attitude, so much characterization packed into the game. A lot of love for Chrono Trigger. Are the Kingsfield games on the list? I doubt it. I don't think there's any FromSoft stuff pre-Demon Souls, and I don't even think we'll get a Demon Souls. Chrono Trigger did the Yoko Taro thing first, where replaying the game actually matters. Dishonored 2, I think it's pretty good. I had fun enough with it. I didn't finish it though. That probably says something, but Dishonored, and I think I talked about this when I was streaming Dishonored, or I think it was in some video or some stream, probably in some GDC stream we did. I feel like Dishonored is a franchise that is desperately in need of an auteur director. Because I think the premise is really interesting. I think the gameplay, like the immersive sim, and we're just gonna it's the Bioshock, but for Thief, where we're bringing this kind of game back, but we're sort of modernizing it for a more console casual audience. I think it has all the makings of a masterpiece game. I think you can do a really good Dishonored. You just need to get somebody better to direct it. And it's not a knock on the guys that directed the Dishonoreds that we did get. And it's like you see it sort of in stuff like The Knife of Dunwall, where you play as Doubt. And maybe that's just kind of the point, where the premise works better when you're playing the bad guy. And you're not playing like a guy that you can play evil, but it's like you're a bad guy and you're kind of on a mission for redemption, maybe. And like the lore of the Outsider and the whalebone magic and all that. It's like there's so much interesting stuff here. I just feel like we haven't gotten a really, really good Dishonored game to capitalize on it. Wait, you can't put a game you didn't finish on good? Yes, you can. Absolutely. I never fought Calamity Ganon, and I'm totally comfortable putting Breath of the Wild here. Like the one in the main Hyrule Castle. And like Shadow of the Colossus, nobody's finished that. Dishonored. Yeah, it's like I'll put Dishonored ahead of Dishonored 2. Because I did finish Dishonored, so I guess that says something for it. You gotta sleep, you traitor. You're abandoning me mid-stream. Do you have any idea how many games I have left to cover? I'll be here all night. And you're not even gonna be with me. Nah, good night. Good night. I love Dishonored, but there's so much more potential there. Yeah. If you drop the game, it can't be that good. Well, I mean, I just had other stuff going on, and then I just didn't pick it up again. But what I played of it was good. Firewatch, didn't play it. For Honor, didn't play it. Insight, not for me. So I didn't play it, but it's also not for me. But if I did play it, it would be horrible. I don't like these. It's the same with Limbo. I can actually just put Limbo right here in the horrible section. I don't like these linear storytelling side-scroller games. Ugh. Even though the guys that make it, I think they're Danish or like Dutch, so I should like them because of Nords Together Strong. But no, thank you, not a fan. The Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth specifically. I'll just say Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac is good. Fun little games. Just decent, Jedi Fallen Order. It's decent, but I've only seen a Let's Play of it, so I guess I can't in full honesty say that it's like one thing or the other. I love the clear disdain for movie games in your tier list. Yeah. My biases shine through, no? Journey. I like Journey. I think Journey's pretty good. I'll put it right here after Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's a good place to put it. Left 4 Dead. I've played like 1 or 2 rounds of it. It's not a game for me. Mordau, never played it. Also not a game for me. Outlast. Outlast is good, but it's kind of like Dishonored. I think there is a great Outlast game to be made. I don't think they have made it yet. Wii Sports is one of the best-selling games of all time. We're not rating it on sales. Also, is Wii Sports here? Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, but it only sold that well because it was bundled with the Wii, didn't it? Isn't that like the thing? There are a lot of really weird inclusions in this pool of game. Not Acer's fault. Not my fault, guys. It's just an odd collection from elsewhere. Yeah. Getting over it. Like, no. Not for me. And also, I hate this. I hate these sorts of games. I hate these sorts of quap. Oh my god, it's difficult to control. I guess getting over it is better than that, because it at least has like a narrative to go along with it that sort of relates to the theme of it. But I'm like, nah, this is not like for me. Now, Papers, Please. Oh yeah, this Lucas Pope, you kidding me? This is the best thing a Naughty Dog staffer has done in like the last since Jak 3, basically. That's basically that might be a bit excessive, but I love Papers, Please. I think this is I feel like this game came out, isn't like 2012 or 14 or whatever. It's like indie games were still sort of growing and popping, and then this comes along and it's like, wow, they can actually, not only can they be fun, they can be really well directed. Physics games are not for Acer. I can't figure them out. Is Obra Dinn on the list? Screenshot. Tell me, because I don't know. Resident Evil 7. I think Resident Evil 7 is pretty good. Probably put it here with Journey and Breath of the Wild. Great sort of return to form for the franchise. Let me say. I tell you what. Let me say. Story is just nonsense, and I do think it kind of falls off the cliff at the end. But, you know, if 2/3 of the game is really good, then I'll put it into good. I had a good time with this one. And I want them to go back to making just an actual out-and-out horror game with Resident Evil. Hopefully, they're going to do Code Veronica, or is there a Resident Evil game called Project X? Is it called Resident Evil Origins? I feel like, is Code Veronica the one set in a train? Is that Resident Evil 0 maybe? I don't know. Not a big Resident Evil guy. Just like a lot of the games there. And I really want them to do, like I said, go back to the horror. I like the horror more than the action. Also, sorry if I'm not elaborating a lot anymore. I'm just trying to sort of weed through the chaff here. Roblox. So, my 4-year-old cousin was playing Roblox last Christmas, and he started crying uncontrollably because he didn't have any Robux that he needed to buy something in the game. And for that reason, it's horrible, because if my 4-year-old cousin is ruining Christmas for himself because he's just losing his mind over not being able to buy something in your shitty Roblox game, then you can go to hell. You've ruined Christmas for me. And also, you shouldn't be marketing that sort of shit to children. Rocket League. Now here is the good stuff. I love Rocket League. Played a lot of Rocket League on my PlayStation 4. That's right, ladies. Probably put it here. Yeah. So I'm one of the greatest Rocket League players of all time. You may not know this about me, but I think this is a game that can sort of live and die by the premise of, yeah, you're playing football, or like soccer, but with little racing cars, and that's a fun premise. But it's actually like well executed and fun, so that kind of takes it over the edge for me. Roblox voice, oof. Yes, it's 0. Yeah, okay. First half of the game is great, then you get to the boat. Yeah. Mia, I gotta save you, Mia. I don't want to save Mia. Screw Mia. I remember you tweeting about how the Roblox developers should die. I might have tweeted about that. I'd buy that. I think a lot of developers deserve to die. Yeah. Beat Saber, never played it. Silent Hill 2. Probably. Yeah, I can probably, because I've played. Because I did finish Silent Hill 2 though, so it probably should be a little bit above Dishonored 2. But I've played so much more Rocket League. I wonder how long this bit should go on. What am I talking about? Like, it's a masterpiece, guys. Come on. No, Dark Souls 3 is not better than Silent Hill 2. It's only a trick. I was just tricking you guys. I'm pretending to not care about Silent Hill anymore. So that the people holding out hope for more Silent Hill content just die a little inside. Yeah, I'd put it there. Silent Hill 2, did a 4-hour video on it. I've said all I need to say, right? Right. The Sims, not for me. Not really my kind of game. Infamous, screw this. What is this? Oh, it's Civilization. Not really for me. But also, I haven't played it. I'd probably have more fun with Civilization than with these other games, but I haven't really played it. I've played the board game, strangely enough. The Spider-Man. La vivo lo Spider-Man. No, thank you. Spore, haven't played it. Wii Sports, haven't played it. Bully. See, I love Bully. I love everything Bully's about. But I haven't played it enough to really say. So, look, it's gonna be here, but I can easily imagine putting it, like, here somewhere in the good category. Deus Ex. Ooh, this is pretty good. My heart stopped for a moment. Oh, for Silent Hill 2. Let me take a moment to ask you ask me to do a video about Silent Hill PT. Oh, maybe. I don't have access to PT. The only PlayStation I know about that had it crashed and lost, like the hard drive crashed and all the data got flushed out. Deus Ex, I would say. Yeah, I would put it here. It's System Shock 3. And I love System Shock and System Shock 2. So when I discovered Deus Ex was System Shock 3, I was like, oh, I love Deus Ex now too. Bully is probably my favorite Rockstar game. I think, if I actually sat down and completed it, it probably would be my favorite. It might eclipse Red Dead 1, but just haven't really. So, and yeah, Human Revolution, it's good, whatever. It's no Deus Ex 1, I'll tell you that much. Factorio, haven't played it. Fallout 4, ugh. I mean, it's pretty good, whatever. You have fun, you travel around Boston, you see the Bostonites, they try to eat you, it's just like Boston in real life. Ha 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 ha. But, the world design is more interesting than in probably any other Fallout game. But the characters are garbage, the story is uninteresting, the atmosphere is non-existent, and the quest role-playing mechanics basically in the toilet. Apparently the Far Harbor DLC has a really well-designed story, but I don't know because I didn't play that one. Now Fallout 3, I might put Fallout 3 in the great category. Yeah, I feel confident in that. I think Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, like I said earlier, this one has the shit world with the great role-playing. This one has the good world with the shit role-playing. And obviously, like, this is a great world for the story that they're telling, and it's, like, really well integrated into a naturally flowing, sprawling narrative, and yada, yada, yada. But, the atmosphere and the world design in Fallout 3 is really top-notch. Even with the metro tunnels. I can overlook the metro tunnels. My title of based has been revoked. Wait, what? Huh? What did it? Do you want Fallout 4 to be higher? Is that what you're saying? I can put it higher. Is this good? Fallout 76, haven't played it. Also, it's not for me, but also I'd probably hate it. Far Cry 5, haven't played it. Blood Dragon, here we go. Now, where did I put Fallout 3? By which I mean Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is here. I'd put this in, like, good. I had fun with this. It's not like a masterpiece or anything, but it's a fun sort of Terminator 80s cyberpunk digital Vice throwback sort of dealy. It's kind of cool. Warcraft, no. Wait, is this Counter-Strike? It's Global Offensive, maybe? Or, I don't know. Oh, you were talking about Deus Ex? Oh. Garry's Mod? I like Garry's Mod. I had a lot of fun with Garry's Mod. I'd put that here. But also, I imagine if I go to Garry's Mod right now, I would probably want to blow my brains out. But it was a really fun game when I was way younger. So on that alone, I guess I have to put it up there. Guitar Hero, I haven't... I've played a Guitar Hero, but this is like the Legends of Rock. So, I'll just say, not for me, don't like Guitar Hero. They better not have put another Guitar Hero here. They better not have. Heyday, haven't played that. Ooh, Blood Money. Blood Money is really good. Really good. Almost... Blood Money is great, even, I would say. So, I mentioned earlier the Indigo Prophecies when I was talking about, I was probably talking about like some shit like Until Dawn or whatever, where the idea was like, oh my god, all of your choices matter. But it's only like, well, which cutscene do you want to watch? Whereas like Hitman Blood Money, when I played that, and that was it came out in like PlayStation 2, like relatively similar-ish time. And this is a game where your choices actually matter. And just stark night and day difference. So much replay value, holds up amazingly well. A lot of good emergent gameplay. So yeah, a lot of love for Hitman Blood Money. I see the Crash Trilogy and Team Racing is 4 there too. I don't see it on a quick glance, but it might be. But yeah, Hotline Miami, it's pretty good. Probably it's not like super, it's not a me kind of game, but I liked it for what I did play of it. Just Cause 2, it's decent, whatever. It's like right here with Far Cry 3. My puppy has just been caught chewing on a bag of D&D dice. She clearly a rogue. What is this? Oh, it's Kingdom Hearts. Haven't played it. With Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. I'm just gonna say didn't play it and move on. Because there's a billion of those Kingdom Hearts and I don't really have strong feelings about them. Life is Strange, yeah, right in the toilet. Life is Strange, sure, again, right in the toilet. Don't like these episodic, tell me a cutscene story, choice kind of games. Not for me, not for me. Ooh, Metro 2033. Wait, I would put the Phantom Pain above Half-Life. And probably above Metro. But Metro, I would say, is a really good sort of resource-driven first-person survival action horror element tinged kind of game. Interesting premise, interesting world design, really fun. Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah. Did you play Liz? Wait, what is Liz? What's Liz? What is Liz? Chat, please. Life is Strange. Oh, okay, Life is Strange. Okay, so no, I didn't play it. But you know that they would be here if I had. The only reason I didn't play them is because I know they would be horrible. But I guess, on a technicality, I have to put them here. Even though these ones would be right here. Ugh. Be careful where you put near. Mountain Blade, haven't really played that. Nier Automata, it's pretty good. So, halfway through the game, I'd probably put it beneath Super Mario Galaxy. Halfway through the game, or thereabouts, my save profile kind of crunked out on me, and I wasn't able to progress, and I also didn't have, my thinking was, I'll just restart the game someday later, and, I'll get back to it later, I'll just create a new save file, it'll be fine. And the day has never come, because I've never been truly, I've never felt the pull to return to Nier Automata, or Automata, or whichever one it is. Joey the Sword and Jennifer Automata, they're not interesting enough characters for me to return. I know that's not their name. I know it's like 2B and 2A or whatever. Yora 2B or 2B Yora or whatever. Not to be. Much beloved game by many, didn't super click for me. But I had a good time with it for what I did play of it. Is that, chat, you satisfied? Or are you gonna crucify me? What the F? Looking at 2 collector's editions of Life is Strange and Life is Strange Beyond the Spider-Verse 20 centimeters away from me, phew. Or break the spell or whatever BTS means. Nier is a game. They made a game of an animated porn character. Apparently. The Nier stories are just too depressing and despair-filled for me, yeah. I can stop the bit now. I'm pretty angry, not gonna lie. This is just how, this was my, guys, the save profile died in the middle of the game. And I'm still saying this was a good experience, even though I just had to redo everything if I touched it again. And I said, it's good. Like, this was a horrible experience, but I liked the game enough that I'm like, yeah, this is still like a good enough game. What am I supposed to do here? How much longer? It's getting kind of late. Yeah, it is getting kind of late. But I think we can kind of breeze through the rest of these. Hopefully, not that much longer. Like, hopefully just in half an hour or something. Pathologic. I would love this game if I played it. I haven't played it. Path of the Exile. Haven't played it. Zombies vs. Plants vs. Zombies. Haven't played it. Postal 2. Haven't played it. Prototype. Haven't played it. Rainbow Siege. Haven't played it. It's not for me. Saints Row 2, haven't played it. Sniper Elite, haven't played it. Stalker, I think I would like Stalker, but I haven't played it. Okay. Zoom through a lot of games there. Star Wars Battlefront 2, this is the original PlayStation 2 game. Really good. I have a lot of fond memories of playing Obi-Wan Kenobi on Utapau. Ripping my way through those horrible CIS droids. The one, EA's Battlefront 2, didn't play that. Superhot, haven't played it. F me for having personal experiences. If you had finished the game, it would be above Silent Hill 2. I don't think so. I think that, I don't think it really resonated enough with me that, in the first 20 hours or whatever, that whatever came afterwards would have really knocked it over the top. System Shock 2 is great. I would say it's even really great. Yeah, thereabouts, I would say. Just amazing. No, wait a minute. we gotta reconfigure this a little bit now, because, like I said, the standard needs to move around to here. Move this, move that. Yeah, okay, now I'm satisfied. How did I have Bioshock above System Shock 2? That wasn't gonna work. No. System Shock 2, we needed to move the list a little bit around, because System Shock 2 is clearly the great game ever made. That isn't a masterpiece. Lightning round over. I would only do the first half of Silent Hill 2, I would say that the game wasn't good at all. Yeah, but that's just like a 3-hour experience. You know, I think there is a bit of a difference there. I'm just seeing Fallout New Vegas falling. Yeah, it's just in free fall. You know, it is what it is. Undertale, didn't play it. Pokemon, I think this is Red and Blue. Didn't play it. I played Pokemon Yellow, but that's not Red and Blue. It's basically the same game, I think, but you get Pikachu in it. But it's not the same game, and we have the anally retentive chatters here. So I'm not counting it. Animal Crossing, haven't played it. Another Pokemon. Cuphead. Cuphead's pretty good. Probably put that right there. Death Stranding. Okay, so here's the thing about Death Stranding. I like Death Stranding. Okay, I quite like Death Stranding. But it has the same issue as Until Dawn has, where you're getting all of these actors to act in your game. Why not just show live action cutscenes? Why are you adding this layer of CGI uncanny valley face that just makes it harder for the performance to come through? And Kojima desperately in need of an editor, somebody to be like, hey, this is a dumb idea. Don't do this. Do a horror game instead. Kojima, I know you're watching. Do a horror game. Okay, Diablo 2, haven't played it. iToy, I did actually play that. It's decent, whatever, it was fun for the time. Wouldn't want to touch it today. Didn't play Grounded, don't play Just Dance. Also, it's not for me, so I guess I should put it there. NBA, not for me, but I would hate it. Persona 5, Battle Royale? Persona Royale? I don't know. Didn't play it. Sly Cooper 3. Why is it Sly Cooper 3? That's like not even the best one of the original. Whatever. It's pretty good, but the problem with Sly Cooper 3 is that they have, since the series' inception, they have you play as a team of thieves. You have Bentley, you have Murray, and you have Sly Cooper. And Sly Cooper is the only one who is fun to play as. All the other ones suck. And rather than recognizing that, they keep just adding more shitty characters to play as in the subsequent games. And Sly Cooper 3 is the worst one because there's like 20 different characters. I just want to play as Sly Cooper. Make a game that's just about playing as Sly Cooper. But, it's fun. It has a good story. The villain is all about, like, I'm gonna recapture the past, and I'm gonna, your father betrayed me, and I don't like that. And then it's like, well, he was sort of the Murray of his... No, he was the Bentley of his team, and the sort of planner, the thinker. And then Bentley has his own sort of crisis within the team, and it's like, well, are they gonna be a family, or aren't they? And, it's a decent enough story, but, way too many characters. Way too many. They put in Wind Waker, but not Majora's Mask. I know, right? Majora's Mask is S tier. Come on, gang. Spec Ops The Line. I like Spec Ops The Line. I'd put it right here. Valorant, not for me. Crusader Kings, haven't played it. Divinity, haven't played it. Who dat? I don't know. I don't know what this is. It's something 6. Wait, is this? Chat, please. Can you identify? Please, I need identify. Nobody can. You fake gamers. Dragon Age, haven't played it. Dying Light, didn't play it. Fall Guys, haven't played it. Also, it's not for me. Dead or Alive. Oh, the titty beach ball game, a volleyball game. I mean, they got, nah, it's not for me. Also, I haven't played it. I should just keep it there. Half-Life Alyx, haven't played it. This is the only Half-Life game. I would like to play this because apparently it has a really interesting configuration for VR, which is probably the only reason they made this. But I would like to test that. The Last of Us Part 2, yeah, just right here. Dog shit, hate it, hate everything about it. Metal Gear Solid, okay, I would say this is a great game. Yeah, this is a great game. Oblivion, I like it, but I've also just played it for 3 or 4 hours. I've played it enough to have an opinion. It's fine. It's whatever. I like it better than Skyrim. I probably don't even like it better than Skyrim. I'm just not as burnt on it yet because I haven't played it as much. Payday 2, not for me. Fallout New Vegas is going to fall again. Just for you, Pedro. I got you, fam. I got you. Moves up once it's a titty beach ball. Of course. Guys, I'm only flesh and blood. Another Persona. Jesus Christ, this guy loves Persona, whoever made this list. Stop with the damn Persona, man. Rust, not really for me. Saints Row the Third, I mean, it's decent. It's whatever. Titanfall 2. Okay, so I would... Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Oblivion goes into decent. Blood Dragon goes into decent. Hotline Miami goes into decent. Human Revolution goes into decent. I feel like I've allowed way too much crap to accumulate in the good category. Because Titanfall 2, I would put in the good category. Probably Sly Cooper should be here then. And Fallout 4 should also be here. Yeah, this looks better. But yeah, Fallout, Titanfall 2, I should say. Like I said earlier, just an amazing single-player campaign. Really like it. A lot of fun. Don't know shit about the multiplayer, though. The temperature in my art studio is plummeting and I might freeze to death before you finish. That's okay, because they'll probably still roll ads on you, and you'll make me a lot of money. How the hell is Bloodborne not a masterpiece? Rewatch the VOD. I've said it like 10 different times. Dawn of War, don't even know what that is. Call of Duty, not for me. Anime, Neptunia, not for me. Shovel Knight, oh my god, I love Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight, so good. Shovel Knight, I love Shovel Knight. Might even say it's great. Done. There we go. I'm assuming this is like Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove, and Spectre of Torment, and King's Ransom, or whatever it's called, like all of that combined. Samurai Warrior 4, don't know what that is. Dragon Ball, not for me. Dead by Daylight, I haven't played it, but it's also not for me. DuckTales, I haven't played it. Untitled Goose Game, haven't played it. Hollow Knight, yeah, I mean, it's fine, it's whatever. It's like, yeah, it's like here with Fallout 4. Arkham Knight, like, it's decent, but it really it really burnt me on the Arkham games, because I think Arkham City was so good, and then you're just like, you get this monstrosity. Thank God Fallout survived another day. Wait, what happened? No, wait, damn, man, what? Whoa. That was a disservice to Hollow Knight? Oh, shit, yeah. I don't know, like, I played it for like 8 hours, and it just didn't grab me. It's, it's fine, it's whatever. My time with it wasn't that great. I had a fine enough time with it. And I even played it on the Nintendo Switch, I think. Maybe. Microsoft Flight Simulator, not for me. I just kind of speed through this before everybody unsubscribes from my Hollow Knight take. This is a I know this is an unpopular opinion of mine. But Hollow Knight just didn't grab me. I'm sorry. I wish that it had. I wish I had this. I wish I had played the game that everyone fell in love with, but it didn't land for me. I'm sorry. No More Heroes, Total Shogun, Subnautica, haven't played it. Haven't played Super Seducer. Haven't played Warhammer. Haven't played Yakuza 5. Haven't played No More Heroes. I guess I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. Haven't played Ori. Haven't played Bayonetta. Haven't played Call of Duty Cold War, and it's not for me. Haven't played this. I guess I haven't played this, even though like this, whatever. Doom Eternal, I haven't played it. Final Fantasy Remake, yeah, it's decent. It's fine. Hades, I like Hades. Hades, I would say, might even be a good game. Strangely enough. I just watched your 7-hour analysis of Bloodborne, which I super enjoyed. What would have put it in the masterpiece top tier for you? Oh, that's an interesting question. When I play, one of the things I really like about Demon Souls, that I think is an accident, is that the environmental design and like the enemy confrontations, all of the scenarios on a minute-to-minute basis really deliver on that cramped, oppressive atmosphere. And I feel like as these From games have continued to be developed, they lean less on interesting setups and scenarios and more on the enemies having an impressive AI and moveset to sort of keep the player engaged. And I don't like that. I think, you have Dark Souls and you have Demon Souls, and they're like, it's so much about the specific placement of each enemy and like how cramped the area is and how the enemy moves and how mobile and fast they are and how long their reach is. Whereas in like by the time you get to Elden Ring, it's just like every enemy can just be, you can just randomize the enemy placements basically, and it doesn't super matter because you're not really incorporating the environment that deeply into the direction other than just the player needs to stand somewhere. As like not everywhere, there are exceptions. There's moments of great scenario direction in that game, but so much of it is just enemies that have a lot of shit they can do, and then every enemy is a spectacle in their own right. But that I don't feel that much for that. So if Bloodborne had stronger scenario direction, if it had more impressive enemy variety, that could have knocked it up. I think also if it had maybe if it had a more crazy sequence shiftable world design like Dark Souls 1 does. Maybe if the NPCs were better integrated into the story so you don't have to go out of your way to meet them again. Maybe if it had more interesting main story characters. If it had all the build paths open right at the start. I mean, you don't like if you want to play Arcane, your first real weapon is the Tonitrus, and you get that after you've beaten Father Gascoigne. So yeah, I think and like none of those individually might be enough to knock it up, but it's like I know that there's a better way of making Bloodborne. I know it. I've played it so exhaustively, and I know like there's a better way of realizing what this game is going for. I can just feel it. I feel that there's a better game right in there, and you just need to scratch a little bit of the surface, and it's there. Or maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm just like Cobium here. What the hell? Is this Hearthstone? I don't know. Haven't played it. The new Hitmans, I like them. I would say they're good. They're good. I'd put them right there. Okay, put Bloodborne in horrible. We get it. Yet you put Dark Souls 3 in good. Curious. Yeah, because Dark Souls 3 has dog shit scenario direction, basically from beginning to end. And at least Bloodborne has interesting movesets. Dark Souls 3 is like, well, you know, we're gonna do the thing of every enemy is a spectacle, so we need to make the combat more involved. Let's do weapon arts. But then the weapon arts just aren't really that interesting. Sorry, I'm getting mad at people pulling for Dark Souls 3. Good is too high. Azer, I'm saying Dark Souls 3 is the worst Souls game. Oh, okay. I mean, the worst From game is still a good game. Well, yeah, probably not. Like, the worst recent From game is still a good game. The Bloodborne thoughts are hitting deep. I too think it has much unrealized potential, bland visuals except Yarnum, shit enemy variety, but hard not to think it has the best lore. I can see that. I can see that. Dark Souls 3 has way better bosses. I don't really like... See, this is another one where it's like the bosses in Demon Souls are, again, it's so much about positioning because they don't have a lot of resources for AI and whatever. So it's just like the Adjudicator. How do you make that fight interesting? You just put it in a cramped room. And because the enemy, you know, the enemy needs to chase the player so that the player is threatened. So do we give him a projectile? Well, no, because then he's too much like the Rotting Demon. Or not the Rotting Demon, the Dirty Colossus, I was going to say, who throws flies out. He's too much like that if we do that. Slow lumbering enemy with a projectile. So what do? We need to force the player to him, and we do it by just cramping the space. And it's just, there are so many interesting, different kinds of boss fights in Demon Souls. And there just isn't in Dark Souls 3. It's all of them are the same basic boss fight. And if you like that kind of boss, if you think the Souls games have good combat as a solo activity, as a standalone activity, divorced from the rest of the experience, I can understand preferring a Dark Souls 3 over a Dark Souls 1 or a Demon Souls. But I just don't. I think the combat is only really good when you use it to deliver on this oppressive, borderline dungeon crawly atmosphere of Demon Souls or Dark Souls. And when you try to make it more of an action game, it just never really lands for me. Superliminal haven't played. Avengers haven't played, but I would probably hate that. Wasteland haven't played, and Like a Dragon have not played. Oh, we did it, gang. It at least works more than Dark Souls 2 usually does. True. Dark Souls 2 sucks, but it has some really good aspects. Dark Souls 3 is just Demon Souls has a really nice variety of fights, though. Yeah. Some weapon arts are cool, but mostly I'd say they're just an excuse to create a concern where it shouldn't be. You play strength decks, you still have to worry about the blue bar. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just how it's integrated. I don't think that's like an inherently bad thing. That shocked you awake again? Yeah, it should have, because I finished it. All 500 games. Whoever lied and said this was only 100 games is a liar. Bloodborne literally ticked every box for me. I love Lovecraftian horror, gothic architecture, more aggressive fighting styles. Oh yeah. Like I said, it's a great game. Ori is a must-play. I hear nothing but good things about Ori, but I think it's a Metroidvania, and I think the problem is I just don't really like Metroidvanias. So that might be why Hollow Knight is only here. Decent. You already froze to death? Aw, shit, son. Did you at least watch some ads? From your crimes against gaming, the new California Republic year. That was a massacre and a bloodbath. Good night, Adak. Sorry. I'm sorry I don't like the new God of Wars. I'm sorry, but I don't. Where would I place Elden Ring on the list? See, the thing is, even after everything I said about how I think Elden Ring like really drops the ball in many ways, it's still like high good or low grade. Like it is a masterpiece. It's just really compromised. Let's shut off night mode for a second, right before we shut down the stream. I enabled the ad block after what you did to Hollow Knight. Wow. Hey, that's kind of messed up, man. You know, you're taking food out of my kid's mouth over here. My kid, of course, being not born. What games are you currently playing through, by the way? None. I am programming. Let me show you what I'm working on. So this is what I got going for myself right now. It's a lava field. And the idea is that you are on a minecart, this one, and you're traveling around the tracks and you're fighting a boss fight while you're doing this. And this has taken me way too long to design, but hopefully it comes out good, because I'd hate to cut it. I hate to cut it. And if it turns out bad, I'm just gonna keep it anyways because I spent too much time on it. I'm serious on the Factorio thing. I'll give you money in Patreon for you to buy it. It's cheap and great. Oh, no doubt. But Factorio also feels like one of those games where I would just find 50 hours of my life disappear, and I really just can't afford that right now. I'm way too stretched. I'm too stretched already, bro. I withstood you putting Sekiro in grade. Limbo is a solid puzzle game. Not sure what you're thinking it is. Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm not making a quality call on the game. I just don't connect to it. You know, when I play it, I feel like they're just like I feel like the thing is just, you know, I'm just pushing a button to move from one end of the screen to the other one. And because there's so little going on, I feel like every obstacle, every puzzle, it's just tedious. And the whole game feels tedious to me. And maybe if I was playing Subway Surfers or something while I was playing Limbo, I'd enjoy it. My fright zoomer brain can't comprehend. But no, you know, it's just my experience with it was basically I felt really bored and I felt it was tedious. 50 hours, oh sweet summer child. I should play Marrow. Okay. I might. Don't worry. Zoomer, isn't Acer like 37? No. I'm in my late 20s, brother. Have you played Soma? I think you'd love the story, but find the gameplay boring. I have played Soma. I did love the story, and I found the gameplay boring. I've only played like the first half of it though. It was in some underwater sequence where I was walking around, and I was like, screw this, I can't. This is too boring. I'm not feeling it. Acer is only a baby. It's true. It's only it's only recently begun that I'm not the youngest guy in every group. Only recently have I been like normal age for the groups that I hang out in. You came in a little late. Where did New Vegas land? Right here. Acer, we're not Zoomers. We're late millennials. Okay. What about Silent Hill 1, 3, and 4? Where would they be? 1 would be probably here, where Metal Gear Solid 3 is. 3 would be probably right behind or right in front of Silent Hill 2. And 4 would be on the bottom rung of Great. You're 30 years older than me? Oof. Oof. Yeah, you are super old. Nah. Some underwater sequence and I'm walking around 90% of Soma. Now, I was like specifically in water. I wasn't in the facility. I'd exited the facility and I was like walking around in water and I was walking in a circle and I did that for like 10 minutes. And I was like, screw this. I've been underwater for too long. I need to get out of here. But at least not that old, yeah. Oh, from Peter, yeah. King's Thrill 3 would be above or under Bloodborne. Under. It would be somewhere in the good category. Have I played Darkwood? No, I have not. Pitch me some more games. Pitch me more games. Let's keep going for 5 more minutes. Or not. I can also just shut it down now. It's fine. Anything, chat? Anything you want to add to this? I haven't played Outer Wilds. 64, Super Mario 64, masterpiece. Marrow, haven't played it. I mean, pitch me games for the list here. Lego Star Wars 2, it's here. Play Outer Wilds blind, please. I will resubscribe. Spend however long it is to play Outer Wilds for 1 sub. To get sub neutral again? I might. I will play Outer Wilds. I will play Pathologic. I will play all of these games. Where would I put PT? PT is great. Knights of the Old Republic. KOTOR is higher end of good. Happy to have been around in the early days of the arcades. Yeah. That must have been really crazy to see, like, oh yeah, this... What is a Pac-Man? Lego Indiana Jones. You guys haven't been watching the whole time. I did Lego Indiana Jones. It's here. Right after Doom and before before Super Mario Galaxy 2. You're all fake viewers. Fake viewers. KOTOR 2, same as I place KOTOR 1. Assuming we have the mod that fixes it. It would probably be a bit above KOTOR 1 though. ADEC isn't here to back me up, but Kirby. That's right, he's not here to back you up, so I don't have to tell you. But yeah, I haven't played it. Is Lego Batman there? No, it's not, but it would be somewhere in the good category. I like that one. Fatal Frame, I haven't played Fatal Frame. I'm a total fraud when it comes to horror games. Silent Hill Ascension, haven't played it, but it's here. It's in Horrible, and it's not for me, but I haven't played it, so it must be and I haven't played it. Which is my Devil May Cry? I like the first one best. What's up with the Lego game love? I love Legos. Jak and Daxter 1, great. I'm in class, Acer. Don't scream at me. Why are you watching me in class? What's wrong with you? KOTOR 2 has terrible pacing. KOTOR 1 is better. Yes, but I think KOTOR 2 has a more interesting story. Scream at everyone, Acer. What about Siren? Siren is great. Pokemon Red and Blue. Right here. Didn't play it. I played Pokemon Yellow. Tomb Raider, the reboot stuff. Didn't play it. Brothers in Arms games. Haven't played them. Don't get between a 37-year-old man and his Legos, I guess. Anyone remember that World War I game with a great classical soundtrack? Yeah, I don't remember the name though. All of the Ratchet games. Ratchet 1 is good. 2 is great. 3 is good, but on the bottom rung, and 4 is good in the middle. And I don't care about any of the other ones. You need to play Fran Bow. Okay. Max Payne Trilogy, haven't played it. Original Crisis, I didn't play it. When Crysis came out, I had a shit laptop, so I would have never been able to run that. Isn't that just Medal of Honor? Huh. Is Hitman Blood Money on your list yet? It's right here. What about Little Britain, the video game? I haven't played it. Surprisingly enough, I haven't played it. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Ooh, great. It would be in the great category. Probably right between New Vegas and Resident Evil 2 Remake. Pitch me a few more. We still have a little bit of time. Super Monkey Ball, haven't played it. F-Zero GX, haven't played it. Alan Wake, haven't played it. Arkham Asylum, I would say Arkham Asylum is in the top tier of good. I know there's a lot of people who think Asylum is better than City, but I like City better. Favorite 2D Mario, and where would I put it? It's probably Mario Maker, if I can put that one there. And I would put that in great. System Shock 1, good. Somewhere in the middle of good. Is Morrowind in there? Morrowind is a masterpiece. But it's not on the list. Any Paradox games? Just haven't played them. The Last Guardian is a masterpiece. Aside from Mario Maker, Majora's Mask is a masterpiece. Aside from Mario Maker, I don't know, like Mario World, Mario 3. I think you can put those into really good. What I love about Mario Maker, what the reason I think Mario Maker could make it into great is that I think it's really valuable that players are taught to think like game developers. I think that the more you get players to design, the more they can sort of intuitively understand interactive language. And that really helps them develop an affinity for more niche games that might not be able to sell you on their spiffy graphics or what have yous. Enter the Matrix. Haven't played it. Original Tomb Raider, haven't played it. Crysis, haven't played it. Bioshock Infinite, I hate it. I feel so bad about hating it though, because I followed when it was coming out. I've watched every Ken Levine interview. This is during the Adam what's his name? The Rev 3 guy, Adam Sessler. Followed all of those, and I loved the game he was pitching, but it's just not the game that he made. Some producer got involved and was like, nah, we're not making your crazy expensive game. We're making a game that's going to be releasable. And it's a really compromised game that we got. Mega Man X, haven't played it. Eco is a masterpiece. Peace Walker is... I had a good time with Peace Walker. And Jak and Daxter, I would say, is a masterpiece. When's the video about Burning Blood coming up? I'd forgotten I ever pitched that, but sorry. I should probably talk to Loki or maybe Sophie about whether they want to work with me on that, because I think it's an interesting topic, but I don't know if I have a lot to say about it by myself. The Spyro games, I've only played Spyro 1 and 2. I'd say they're both good. I've actually also played, I think it's Ripto's Revenge on the Game Boy Advance. I would say that's good too. I had a lot of fun with that, but I also played it like 20 years ago when I was a baby. And if I played it now, I'd probably not have as good a time with it. 40K Space Marine, haven't played it. Which is my favorite Crash Bandicoot? Twin Sanity. Super Metroid. Super Metroid is in the haven't played category. Mountain Blade Warlord. You guys, didn't I just put that in here a few minutes ago? It's in the haven't played category. And I actually think it is actually in here. I think I dropped it in here just a little bit ago. God damn it, now I'm looking around trying to find it. It's somewhere. Did I put it in the not for me, maybe? I don't know. Layers of Fear. I didn't love Layers of Fear. I only played the alpha, but I didn't like it. The list didn't include any racing games. What? We have Mario Kart. We have Crash Team Racing. We have a Need for Speed even. It's not for me. Where is it? Are you guys deleting things off of my list? Why can't I find... Here it is. Need for Speed. Every Sonic game you've played. They're all horrible. Jedi Outcast Academy. I actually haven't played those. I need to go back to them. This list includes Crash Team Racing. Yeah. Dead Rising. Not for me. Do I have any RTS games? Not really. I'm not a big RTS guy. Age of Mythology, like I said, not big. Supreme Commander is a masterpiece RTS. Possible, but again, not really for me. Chat, I'm going to put a stop to it right there. No more games. If you pitch another games, I'm not going to answer. You haven't played Firewatch? No. I'm not a nerd. The Medium? I haven't played that. Also, I already said I wasn't going to answer anymore. So maybe I did play The Medium and just lied. No, I haven't played The Medium. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. If you have any opinions on my list, I don't know why you would. I think my list is pretty flawless. But if you have an opinion, everybody has an opinion these days. You can hit me up on the Discord. The link is in the description if you want to do that. I imagine we're in for a lively debate. I'm gonna shut this down and go get some dinner and then join you guys in the rant corner. But thanks everybody for stopping by. You just joined. Yeah, well, you had 3 hours, man. I don't know what to tell you. Can we send death threats on Twitter? Sure. I don't see why not. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Hope you had some fun. Sorry I don't stream so much right now, but a lot of work, and I'm also spending a lot of time programming. So yeah, it is what it is. It is. Oh, death threats on Discord. Yeah, sure. You can send death threats on Discord. It's fine. It's fine. Do you want some spoo? Yes, I will take some spoo. Thank you. I'm actually going to have some fish. So no, it's not. I'm just faking. It's spoo faking. I'm going to get fish. But yeah, see you guys later. I'm hopefully... next stream is probably going to be the Game Awards. I'm probably not going to make it live. We'll probably have to watch a recording of the Game Awards. It's going to be super cringe. I'm going to be reacting to... all the lame happenings there, all the lame unfunny jokes, and I'll be like a day behind everybody else, but Daddy's gotta go to work, baby. He can't take the Friday off just because Geoff Keighley scheduled his Game Awards for 12:30 a.m. on a Thursday, like a maniac. Just do it on a weekend, man. What's wrong with you? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.